The Friday night lights are shining down on the high school football hotbed that is Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Tonight we come to you from Oakland, home of the 7-time state champion Patriots. They're pretty used to big games around here, and they've got another one on hand tonight as the Ravenwood Raptors make the trip from Williamson County in a battle of undefeated 6A title contenders. This is Week 10 on the Tennessee Army National Guard's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. He is Bruno Reagan, former SEC offensive lineman. I'm Lucas Panzica. We are thrilled to have you with us on a beautiful night out here at Ray Hughes Stadium. When you think high school football in Middle Tennessee, Ravenwood and Oakland are two of the first schools that come to mind, Bruno. This is not a region game for either team, but both undefeated, both with big goals this season, and both coaches think this is a huge chance to have a measuring stick for their team at the end of the regular season.
It's a funny thing you mentioned. It's simultaneously the stakes couldn't be higher, being the game of maybe the season, and also it doesn't really count towards their seeding or anything. So it's kind of one of those things where both these coaches could be a semifinal or a finals game that we're getting a preview of tonight. But you said it, Lucas. I mean, it's a measuring stick to see exactly where we're at going into the tail end of the season.
Well, let's go to the keys to the game. It is strength on strength tonight. As for Ravenwood, it's about bending but not breaking. They bring out this powerful run-stopping defense against a potent Oakland rushing offense.
When you hear bend, don't break, typically you want to try and minimize that first down, but you keep the other team on the field. You're going to play a little bit less press on your corner and your coverages. You're going to keep everything in front of you. You're going to trust your athletes to make those open field tackles. So they're going to really rely on those top-tier athletes they have on the Ravenwood defense.
And for Oakland, it's about the three-headed monster on the field for the first time together. The three running backs, DeJuan Morris, Tamari Hill, and Craig Tutt. Ravenwood will be the first defense to see those players this season.
I always mention on the broadcast the rushing game softening process, really prevalent here in Tennessee with how much rushing offense we get. Now, when you have three guys who can run all dynamic in different ways, once you start to get to the third and fourth quarter, that's when they really start to pile it on.
Well, that takes us to our key players. For Ravenwood, it's Auburn commitment Donovan Starr, a track star. He plays cornerback. He's a specialist. He plays wide receiver. Hard to keep number 0 off the field.
Absolutely. When we have our players to watch, one of the things we look for is, do they play both ways? What kind of responsibility do they have? For Donovan, he's never off the field. He does absolutely everything. I mean, they could probably throw him at quarterback if they wanted to, right? So that was the one thing we looked for, and I'm sure we're going to see him all over the field tonight.
And for Oakland, it's star running back DeJuan Morris, committed to play for the USC Trojans. A little bit banged up this season since week 1, but they feel like he's back to 100%. He's got 5 total touchdowns this season. It'll be interesting to see his workload tonight.
Yes, it's an interesting choice for player to watch, because usually we'll pick like the best or the most impactful player. But for Morris, it's kind of like seeing where he's at in terms of Oakland and their playoff progression. So seeing where he's at, how they could use him going into the big time of their season.
Big game for both teams, both with state championship expectations. So let's get an injury report from the third member of our team, Sammy Kincaid.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham Injury Law Injury Report, I'm happy to report there's no injuries. The story is actually that players are going to be coming back tonight. And let's start out on that Ravenwood side. Tonight you will have Jasper Quessenberry coming back on the offensive line. You'll also have Jared Peterson coming back. And then Coach Creasy, you mentioned it. It's the first time he's going to have that three-headed monster in the backfield, so you know he's happy about that. But that is your Bart Durham Injury Law Injury Report. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have a whole lot more for you. Kickoff, coin toss, a whole lot. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Week 10 brings us to Oakland High School, where the undefeated Patriots play host to the undefeated Ravenwood Raptors. Two teams that could meet in the 6A state championship game go head-to-head tonight in Murfreesboro in the second to last week of the regular season. Titanic matchup happening in Middle Tennessee tonight. Before kickoff, we'll send it down to the field for the Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss.
Tails and heads on it. We're going to ask you to make that call. What are you calling? He said tails, okay? I'm going to flip it. If I drop it, we'll do it again. It is tails. You've won the toss. You want to defer. Everybody just stand still right quick and let me back up. White team has won the toss and elected to defer. Which way do you want to kick? Towards the scoreboard, then turn around and face the scoreboard, and you guys turn around and face them, okay?
Our white hat, Keith Dyer, leading the way on the call tonight. Teeing it up is Drew Crabtree, the Ravenwood kicker, and he will boot it deep to some very dynamic kick returners. As Bruno, we talked about that three-headed monster of DeJuan Morris, Tamari Hill, and Craig Tutt, all playing for the same time for the first time this season, and all three back deep. And Tutt will get the first kickoff return opportunity of the night as he rounds his way to the near side across the 40. Tutt across the 45 and down before he reaches midfield. An excellent return from the four-star prospect with plenty of power conference offers. And it's an Oakland offense that already runs the football as well, if not better, than anybody in the state of Tennessee. And they'll get pretty good starting field position here. An offense that averages 361 rush yards per game. Bruno, quarterback Kyler Creasy, the son of head coach Kevin Creasy, is just the field general.
Always an interesting relationship. My old man's probably watching. He was my judo coach, and I mean, we would go to blow for blow all the time. So for Kyler Creasy, though, it's just kind of like he's always been around. He's settled in. We'll get more into that into the broadcast, but it's kind of just like business as usual for them. It's unusual.
He's been around this program a long time. He'll toss it left. Hill lopes over midfield and falls into Ravenwood territory. Tamari Hill, who has not appeared since the Blackman game back in week 5, a 13-12 victory. He is the lead rusher for this Oakland offense as we take a look at the starting lineup presented by BMC Metalworks. Tamari Hill, officially the starter, but you'll see plenty of DeJuan Morris and Craig Tutt in this game as well. They do a really nice job of spreading the ball around to their playmakers. Here's 2nd and 7. This time it'll be DeJuan Morris coming to the right side. It was sniffed out, and he gets a second effort, but does collapse at the line of scrimmage. And this is strength on strength, as we talked about in the pregame show. This Ravenwood defense led up front by Sam Rohan, Cooper Midget, and Elliott Hampton, Anderson, and Summerell in the middle of that defense. And, of course, Donovan Starr, the Auburn commit, at corner. This is a defense, Bruno, that has forced opponents to a combined negative 25 rush yards in the last 2 weeks.
You know, both of these teams coming in, they were talking about their keys to the game, specifically from the head coaches themselves. And a lot of them said, you know, well, our rushing attack, our offense staying on the field, time possession for Oakland. And for Ravenwood, it was our defense.
And here's a big play for Oakland. DeJuan Morris takes the screen, nearly housing it as he's down to the 1. A touchdown saving stop at the end of that run by Kenner Schlitt, the nickel outside linebacker. But just like that, Oakland breaks one loose on 3rd down.
And Oakland will kind of draw you in. It's a kind of a fool's gambit to convince yourself they're one-dimensional.
And they're going to go quick here, trying to shove it into the end zone for the opening score, and they do. Touchdown, Patriots. Didn't take long for this Oakland offense to get into business. Started with the big play by Morris, and then it's Kyler Creasy punching it in on the QB sneak for his first rushing score of the season.
More unique than a QB sneak. That was the tush push the Philadelphia Eagles have sort of trademarked, and no one else can really do it. Oakland's actually the second team in history I've actually seen pull it off. So,
extra point is good by Jose Hernandez, and the Oakland Patriots take an early lead in this one, 7-0 on the opening drive. Now, that's something Ravenwood coach Will Hester talked about. He said, we have to make them snap it again. Can't let them break the big play in the run game, and it happens on the 3rd play from scrimmage.
And right before, because I know you have to go through our starting rosters, and I'm just thinking, well, we're kind of getting a little baited into, you know, some security, and then Oakland pounds them with the explosive play. I mean, you cannot give an inch against this Oakland offense.
Here's a look at that screen again to USC commit DeJuan Morris, who was banged up in week 1, has slowly been getting back healthy since then. Looks 100% there.
DeJuan Morris, he just does a really good job of, with running backs, a lot of them telegraph where they're going to go with their shoulders and their eyes. Well, he is just so dynamic on a spot. I mean, it'd be hard to tackle the guy in a phone booth. So everyone's kind of taking different alignments to where he will be, but no one's actually wrapping him up. So it looks like he's covered, but then he just kind of squeaks through as we summarize our 4-play, 51-yard drive.
Yeah, 47 of those 51 yards on that screen to Morris. Kyler Creasy finishes the job. And now Ravenwood's offense will see its debut in this game maybe a little bit earlier than they would have liked. Jose Hernandez will boot it deep, and he'll boot it short to keep it away from star returner Donovan Starr. With some room up the middle of the field across the 40-yard line is Ben Hubbard. The MTSU commit won't be going far to play his college ball. He's a big part of this Ravenwood offense that is led by a dual quarterback system. So number 11, Femi Babalola, gets the start tonight, but you will see his junior classmate Maverick Chance throughout the course of the game, and we'll tell you more about that system that the Raptors have nailed down on their way to putting up 36 points per game on offense.
Got to see Femi play last season as a sophomore. Now we're getting into his upperclassman years. Very, very good talent. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops, especially now that we're at the tail end of his junior season.
Good starting field position for Ravenwood as well on their opening series. Caden Pace will get the first carry of the night, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage. Taurus Allen wraps him up first, the senior defensive end. We'll get a look at this Ravenwood offense presented by BMC Metalworks. Again, Babalola gets the start, but we will see Chance at quarterback today. Caden Pace, though, has been probably the most consistent player on this offense. Davis Dolan is the starting running back with his 167 rush yards. Babalola will wire it deep and incomplete on 2nd and 10, and the Raptors suddenly face a 3rd and long on their opening possession. As we look at the Oakland defense, a unit coordinated by David Watson.
3rd down, 10.
A 4-3 group, number 9, Caleb Ellison, the quarterback, as that's the Ravenwood group. We'll show you Oakland starters here in a few moments. 3rd and 10. Babalola fakes the handoff under pressure. He's able to get the pass off and out of bounds to throw it away. So Babalola avoids the sack, but it is a 3 and out by the Ravenwood offense, forced, of course, by Oakland. That was Justin Barber with the pressure.
Yeah, it looked like also Dre Oldham, the senior defensive lineman, was able to get in, as Lucas will take us through the Oakland starting defense.
Yeah, Caleb Ellison, the quarterback on the field, the Furman commit in the middle of that defense, and a very talented secondary led by Chase Bandy, number 2, with his 5 interceptions on the year.
Setting up the punt is Ravenwood. Oakland just forcing a 3 and out.
It's Drew Crabtree getting it away. It'll take a Ravenwood bounce, but it's scooped up. Looking for an angle around the right side is Tamari Hill, and he is chopped down before reaching the 15-yard line. So we'll take our first break. Oakland gets it back after taking the opening lead at home in a battle of unbeatens in Murfreesboro. Always a special pause in the action right before kickoff. The United States Marines national anthem moment ahead of this Week 10 battle between undefeated 6A state championship contenders. 10 combined state titles between these two programs in their history. 7 for Oakland, 3 for the Ravenwood Raptors. A pleasure to be here at Ray Hughes Stadium alongside Bruno Reagan in the booth. I'm Lucas Panzica. Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline on a beautiful Middle Tennessee night as Oakland gets the football back, this time inside their own 15-yard line after taking a lead on their opening possession and having a tough time bringing down DeJuan Morris is this Ravenwood defense as he battles forward. Matt Anderson eventually gets him down, one of the lead tacklers for the Raptors. And that's a gain of 7, Bruno, where it feels like the play's never dead with Morris.
Yeah, it's a gap scheme, and I mean, what impressive. It looks like he goes down, but he has his hand touch the ground instead of his forearm. So he's not down, no loss of forward progress because he instantly gets back up. Good play, and that's just the kind of things Oakland brings. They don't take a play off. Every single play, they're giving their best on 11-man football. That's what makes them so dangerous.
And the USC commit averages 7.5 yards per carry this season. Now Tamari Hill will get a turn around the left side, and he's shouldered out of bounds after picking up the BMC Metalworks first down. An industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating its 50th year anniversary. BMC Metalworks. I mean, just how impressive is it that this Oakland offense marches right down the field on its opening possession against the Ravenwood defense, Bruno, that has shut out 4 opponents this season, has allowed a combined 7 points in their last 4 games, has allowed 40 points combined all year coming into tonight.
Well, also, I mean, they did great on the first 2 downs, but I think they kind of got baited into Oakland, being a running team, and then the screen just set them up for that early score.
They were ready for it that time as Lane Summerell wraps up DeJuan Morris in the backfield. First negative play of the night for the Oakland offense as Morris loses 3, and that sets up 2nd and long.
Negative plays against run-heavy teams, really tough to come back from when you have to cover so much ground on a second to make it third and manageable, especially when you're in this field position where fourth down isn't necessarily an option.
It's the 5th all-time meeting between these two teams. Oakland is 4-0 in the series. As Creasy will throw on second down, wings it down the middle of the field, has a man, it's caught. Chase Bandy running free at the 10. Bandy scores! Touchdown, Oakland.
Chase Bandy for Oakland just beats him over the top. We take a look right there. So they bring a little bit of an angle on the defensive line for Ravenwood. The pressure doesn't get by, and Bandy just comes out, sneaks by. I didn't get to see if it was a bust in coverage or maybe just an athletic play, but he had about 6 or 7 yards separation from the high safety, which cannot happen, especially on the down and distance drive. You're in 2nd and 13 or 15, can't get beat over the top, and Oakland just makes it happen.
74 yards for Chase Bandy, who came into the season with 182 receiving yards. It's his 3rd touchdown. He is Kyler Creasy's favorite target.
Just a little waterfall protection works well enough. Creasy with no pressure. And Bandy actually cuts into the only secondary player, just trusting the route. He probably saw a lot of green in him, but he knew not to ad-lib. Just go where Creasy. And also, you got to mention, great ball placement by Creasy to get him in stride, able to set up that score.
That's Kyler Creasy's 14th touchdown pass of the season. He's completed 66% of his passes. That one for 74 yards. To finish off a 4-play, 86-yard drive. It takes only 96 seconds off the clock, and Ravenwood in uncharted territory here. The most points they've allowed in a game all season is 17 in a 27-17 win at Alcoa in week 1, and it's 14-0.
I think 8 plays in. I think Oakland offense has ran 8 plays total at this point, so a lot of football left to be played. Whether that's good or bad for Ravenwood is to be seen.
Hernandez kicks it off. Again, he'll keep it away from Starr, so this is Ben Hubbard on the return. The future MTSU Blue Raider gets it out to the 35-yard line. And we'll get another look at this Ravenwood offense. You see head coach Will Hester. He is 32-12 in the middle of the 4th season of his 2nd stint at Ravenwood. Went 38-4 in 3 seasons in his first stint, including a 2015 state championship, before some stops at Nolensville and then down in Alabama with Florence High School. But came back home ahead of the 2021 season, and he puts in quarterback Maverick Chance as part of this 2-quarterback system for the Raptors. Sends Hubbard in motion, Chance up the middle, picks up 3 or 4 on the plays. He falls forward. So, typically it's the old saying, right? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Mm-hmm.
Will Hester tells us this week, I used to think that until this season. Femi Babalola and Maverick Chance in the same grade, a wide-open competition this year, and they reached a point where they said, why not play both? He says he thinks he has the 2 best quarterbacks in the region, and it's worked out for them all year.
Yeah, I used to think the same exact thing as Coach Hester, but it just comes down to the discipline and the maturity of the 2 players involved. Everyone wants to be the me guy. Everyone wants to be on the TV. Everyone wants to be the star. That is a natural human instinct. But if you can kind of overcome that, you and your team can go farther working together. So I think it's a great show of maturity for this Ravenwood offense, who's starting to get some progression right now.
He hands off to Caden Pace, his team's lead rusher, who surges forward, making it 3rd and 2 with Ravenwood approaching midfield.
It's funny you mentioned Coach Hester. This is his 2nd stint at Ravenwood. The first one, I got to play against him in 2013, and I never let him live it down that they dropped 40 on me, and it made me feel sad my first game of my senior season.
Tough times. Chance swarmed in the backfield. Nowhere to go on 3rd down. As Chase Bandy, just moments after a 74-yard touchdown catch, comes down from his corner spot to make the stop, and it brings up 4th down and a 3-and-out again for the Ravenwood offense.
I also think that's probably the 2nd time ever I've seen the the infamous handhold tackle. I think someone got Maverick's hand and was holding his hand and was able to allow his team to come gang tackle. We've been talking a lot about Ravenwood defense and Oakland offense. Make no mistake, the Ravenwood offense and the Oakland defense are also high-level operations.
Whistles blow before Crabtree takes the snap. Get our first penalty flag of the game.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense number 11, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that's called on Oakland. And it was 4th down. And Bruno, I believe that'll move the chains and give Ravenwood a free BMC Metalworks first down here after a 4th and 5 punting situation.
Yeah, they got commentators cursed by the producers in our ear. They said, we'll get a re-kick. No, sir. Ravenwood's offense will come back on the field. And these are the kind of things that Oakland has to avoid. When you're dominant in all phases of the game, you have all the momentum. You can't give an inch. And right there, they give Ravenwood an inch.
So Caden Pace right up the gut. Let's go down to Sammy Kincaid for a quick comment on the sideline.
Hey guys, yeah, you're talking about the 2 QB system, and they switch it each week. Who's going to be the starter, and has nothing to do with performance. And they're both juniors. Femi, he started freshman year and he got hurt, so Maverick came in, and they've kind of switched back and forth ever since. And coach said you need 2 QBs all season, so why not get them both snaps? The team votes on captains each week, and the team votes on both of them being captains each week. They played together at Brentwood Blaze Pee Wee, so they've known each other, been friends ever since they were young. And Maverick went to private school, and now they're in middle school, so now they're back together and having fun playing together.
Thank you, Sammy. Look at those guys playing for the Blaze, coming up in the same grade all year with big futures as the co-starting quarterbacks of the Ravenwood Raptors, leading them together to an 8-0 start to the 2024 season. Great stuff.
I love that picture. Get the youngin' version of him on.
Chance going to throw for the first time. Under pressure, turns into a runner and spins across midfield. Able to work into Oakland territory as he's forced out. And now an interesting decision for head coach Will Hester, as he'll keep the offense on the field. He loves Maverick Chance as a runner, Bruno. It says he reminds him of Keenan Reynolds, the legend from Goodpasture Christian, who went on to have a phenomenal career at Navy and get drafted.
Yeah, you know, Navy running that sort of triple option, the service academy style of football. That's a big compliment for Maverick to have that comparison.
Well, they're going to go for it, but a flag is down.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, number 21. A 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So that's called against Dre Oldham, the senior defensive lineman. No, Kevin Creasy did talk about penalties. Said they got off to a slow start last week out of the bye against Coffee County, a 42-10 win, but thought his team was a little bit undisciplined early in that game, and now it's given Ravenwood 2 free first downs. As Chance will throw, nearly intercepted over the middle, but incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10.
And I like the play calling from Ravenwood, too, especially after once you get bailed out once, you know, that's kind of that's a gift. The second one is a sign. So they go for the big play right there, and that's Craig Tutt on defense for Oakland, almost getting it. You see right there, you can't even, I used to have a saying, you know, there was a reason they play defense, but for Tutt, I mean, it's a guy that plays. So that's when he wants to come back with and probably have that catch. But again, still 2nd and 10 for Ravenwood.
Yeah, Tutt's hardly left the field this season, the 4-star safety. Chance going to run again, takes it across the 40. And he's brought down at the 38-yard line of Oakland. So Ravenwood chipping away here on offense. And it brings up a 3rd and 4 opportunity for the Raptors. They're going to go quick with Caden Pace as the runner. And he is stopped at the 35. Excuse me, that was Davis Dowland, the lead returning rusher from last year, who battled through some early injuries this season. And it brings up another 4th and short. No hesitation from Will Hester.
Yeah, and it looked like Ravenwood was going to get that extra yard to convert and make a new set of downs. But number 3 for Oakland, Gus Ramsey, the senior defensive back, comes from out of the frame and kind of just stuffs him at the 1 to go.
Chance will hand off, this time to Pace. He gets across the 35. Does he have enough for the first down? They'll say yes. It's a BMC Metalworks chain mover. Tough run for the sophomore running back.
A good little kick-out scheme right there. And the Ravenwood series has been kind of defined by penalty on the punt, penalty on the third down, now a fourth down conversion. They're kind of doing what Oakland wants to do, control time of possession, stay on the field. Ravenwood's finding some success here as they threaten to go into the maroon zone.
Second drive of the game for the Raptors. Wiring it over the middle. His chance is tipped up and intercepted. Craig Tutt picks it off. Across the 30 he goes and out of bounds, bumped out by the quarterback. And the Oakland Patriots come up with the turnover. It was tipped over the middle, and it's Craig Tutt who will be playing big-time college football in a couple years, getting it back for the home team as they lead it 14-0 at home. (14-0) Oakland, and the Patriots get the ball back after the interception by Craig Tutt on the tit drill. A four-star safety prospect. He's got offers from Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, you name it. And Kevin Creasy says Tutt reminds him of Jacoby Stevens, his former star defensive back that went on to have a great career as a national champion at LSU. They expect DeJuan Morris to have a great college career at USC, and Ravenwood just cannot bring him down as he crosses midfield. Pollard wrestles him down along the Oakland sideline, and it's a BMC Metalworks first down for the senior back.
I've seen DeJuan Morris break more tackles than every other team combined. I think I've watched on the entirety of our Friday Night Rivals lineup this season, and we are one quarter into the game. Very impressive for the back for Oakland.
The first down, snap, handoff, goes up the middle to Tamari Hill, who they call TT around here, as he is over 500 yards on the season with that 4-yard run. There's Kevin Creasy. 10th season at Oakland, a record of 130-10, 4 state championships. Is that good?
I think that's good. 4 is a pretty good number of state championships.
It included a 3-year run going back to back to back in 2020, 2021, and 2022. There's a runner-up finish last year for the Patriots in a loss to Houston in the state title game. Hill gets another give here and gets a yard as he's tackled by Cooper Midget. So third down, how important does a stop feel here for the Ravenwood defense?
You want to always avoid, as a player and as a coach, the word must-have, especially this early into the game. But as a commentator, I don't abide by those rules. So I would say it's a must-have for morale.
Could be the final play of the quarter. Faking the screen, flipping it up the middle to Morris. He's got the first down, and a trailing tackle by Pollard gets him down at the 36. So it'll briefly stop the clock to move the chains. And a BMC Metalworks first down sets up Oakland deeper into Ravenwood territory. They do not have to snap the ball here if they want to just take it into the second quarter. Creasy in the gun. They will go. Creasy's going to run it. Might have been a busted play there as he trips across the 35, but that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. A 74-yard catch over the middle by Chase Bandy puts Oakland on top 14-0 as we take it to the second in Murfreesboro. Starting the second quarter in Murfreesboro. Don't go anywhere. The United States Navy halftime report coming up as we highlight this week. Sonic Scholar athletes have participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here, across the country, and more. The United States Navy forged by the sea. This is 2nd and 7 for Oakland. Quick pass, finding his man Michael Brown, and the tight end loses the football at the 25. Ravenwood saying they have it. Waiting for an official call, and they do. Lane Summerall made the hit. Michael Brown loses the football, and it's a much-needed swing of momentum back towards the Raptors as correction, Donovan Starr, the Auburn commit, forces it free.
Yeah, Sumero was the one that came up with the football, and that's one of those, you can protect the football as much as you want. At the end of the day, football is a human game, and sometimes the defensive player's helmet hits you in the perfect position. No matter how high and tight you have that football, the helmet just pops it out. It seems so seamless, and Ravenwood kind of gets a new life, I guess you could say, coming into the second quarter.
Femi Babalola now gets his second series at quarterback for the Raptors off the turnover. And he finds his man Ben Hubbard at the 45, but Hubbard can't hang on. And it brings up 2nd and 10 after the incompletion.
That's a subtle thing not a lot of people consider for wide receivers to have to practice is when you get to the highest, and this is like the highest level of public school Tennessee football right here, you get throws that are kind of through the windows of arms and bodies. But Babalola sat there and delivered. As we take a look at our first quarter stats, Oakland, 127 yards passing, 38 yards rushing. Did you have that penciled in when we came into the game today? And Ravenwood still looking for something. They would have had an explosive play there if we were able to complete, but Hubbard lost the football through the window.
Yeah, of course, 74 of those came on the screen to Dwan Morris that got it down to the 1, allowing Oakland to punch it in for the score. But no doubt, that's not often a stat that you'll see with the Patriots, as gunning it over the middle is Babalola looking for Hubbard again. There was some contact there at the end of the route, and a flag flies in the secondary.
I think they'll just call a personal foul for unnecessary roughness here on Oakland.
Keith Dyer, the white hat tonight, will talk it over. And if so, that will be the 3rd penalty against Oakland that hands Ravenwood a free first down tonight. We'll have some more discussion.
Saw one of the referees signal a closed fist to the helmet to like signal targeting, but I think it should just be an unnecessary roughness because he kind of came up on it. We'll get the official call here.
No flag. 3rd down.
So they'll pick it up.
Yeah, it was a subtle one because it was a catchable ball. Take a look right here. For Hubbard, there was a chance he could have caught that football. It's a close call. The referee does opt to pick it up. I think either way, the call would be understandable.
Gus Ramsey was the player making the contact, and Ravenwood will take their first time out of the half. Will Hester brings his team in for what he knows is a pivotal 3rd and 10 early in this game. So we'll take a break with them. When we come back, Ravenwood trying to sustain a drive as they trail on the road 14-0 at the Patriots. Big 3rd and 10 here for the Ravenwood offense. Babalola dropping back under pressure. He's going to run it. Femi Babalola has the sideline, sticks the football out, and looks like he has the first down.
Babalola has been playing a great game tonight. I think he's actually sat in there and thrown the ball when he needed to, but right here he makes it happen with his feet. Steps up against the pressure. Good job by the tackles to both run them up the field in just enough space. Literally a game of inches to get that first down conversion.
Great pocket awareness there by the 6'3", 200-pound junior quarterback. His head coach says he feels like he's a pretty prototypical college quarterback size with that athletic ability to boot. As Babalola will gun it deep. He's got Starr reeling it in at the 20. Donovan Starr is in the end zone. Touchdown, Ravenwood. "65 yards to the house, and the future Auburn Tiger gets loose to put Ravenwood on the board."
See, Donovan Starr is fired up right there. Who better than Babalola to Starr? Starr, a player to watch coming in. Typically plays on we acknowledge his defensive side, but he plays everywhere, and he beats Oakland over the top. And what an effortless throw by Babalola. That was a powerful throw. He steps into it, makes it look easy. He's been throwing really good passes all night. Right there, they finally get the explosive play and the connection to turn this into a game.
Crabtree on for the extra point. He's 26 of 28 this season, make it 27 of 29. Ravenwood cuts the Oakland lead in half early in the second quarter, and it is just the shot of adrenaline this offense needed.
3-step drop back, takes 1 step up, sees his man open, hits it nearly perfect. You can always be a little better. Starr had to turn around just a little bit for it, but just enough to keep him in stride to complete the score.
That's Donovan Starr's 4th receiving touchdown of the season. He was our player to watch pregame for the Raptors. Does it all. Special teams, defense, which is what he'll be playing in the SEC as an early enrollee down at Auburn. And wide receiver as he puts the Raptors on the scoreboard. A 4-play, 76-yard drive, taking just 28 ticks off the second quarter clock. So Ravenwood will have to send it back to the Oakland Patriots. And we'll see if that big play gives any juice to this Ravenwood defense that has been dominant all season, but has run into a first quarter buzzsaw in the Oakland Patriots. In fact, the 14 points given up by Ravenwood in the first quarter, the first time they've conceded any points in a first quarter this season.
Yeah, when you look at teams, it's easy when you're ahead and maybe you're playing teams that might have less talent or less numbers, less depth, whatever the reason, right? It always speaks volumes the most when you get in unfavorable situations, especially against a team like Oakland. And then how are you going to react? Ravenwood shows right there. They're not going to lay down. They're going to go down with a fight.
Crabtree will flutter it down to the 18-yard line. This is fielded by Hill, who nearly breaks loose between the hash marks. But he's brought down. Ball spotted at the 37. That's where Oakland will start the drive. Kyler Creasy back out on the field as we send it back down to Sammy Kincaid.
Hey, guys, yeah, we've been talking a lot about Coach Creasy's Kyler Creasy out there at quarterback, and you know he's got to be proud watching his son tonight. He said this is something they've dreamed of ever since he was a little boy on the sideline. I'd be the head coach. And he led the AV team to an undefeated season, and so he's really excited to see his son out there now really performing well for them.
Thanks, Sammy. The handoff here is to Morris. He is swallowed up in the backfield. Loses one on the play. But Kyler Creasy, not just a good athlete and a tough player, bouncing back from a couple broken collarbones last year, but a heck of a student, too. 4.0, 28 ACT, involved in the youth group at his church. He's been around this program since he was 7 years old, whether as a ball boy or running around at practice. And his dad says he's one of the best leaders on the football team.
I imagine also helps when your dad's the head coach, so if he's giving any teachers any trouble, they'll go straight to the source.
Easy motivator.
Yeah.
Huh? Flag down on 2nd and 11.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And penalties continue to hurt the Oakland offense in this game. That'll make it 2nd and 16, backed up to the 33-yard line.
Oakland has shown they can drop back and throw it. They're not just a one-trick pony. They do have a dynamic offense. They just don't have to use all the tools sometimes.
Creasy from the gun. Play action under immediate pressure. He just heaves it into the sideline. And that brings up 3rd and 16. And how advantageous is this a situation for Ravenwood? For Oakland, primarily a running team that likes to sprinkle in the pass and catch teams off guard, but 3rd and 16, tough to catch a defense off guard.
Also, I mean, with the defensive players, if you're an edge linebacker or one of the D linemen, your ears are just pointed back, right? I mean, make no mistake. It's either going to be a pass, a drop back pass, 5-step drop back, or a screen. So this is your chance to really get after and rush the passer.
Number 22, Austin Mayfield, is the lead rusher on this Ravenwood team, but they're going to run it around the left side here as Hill nearly gets the first down. He scampers out before the 45, so he's about 4 yards short. But could this be 4-down territory for the Oakland offense? No, because it'll come back with a holding call.
Headed to the 44-yard line.
Take a look on the right side of your screen right here. We'll get a look at the holding. Yep. And I always say that the edges where these guys who maybe aren't used to blocking, because that's called on Hainsworth, number 29, that's where the holdings happen. And Hainsworth was he was kind of tiptoeing into his block. Every offensive coach will tell you, run through it. So you don't have the opportunity to hold. You want to make a collision.
Keith Dyer going to sort this out and formally announce the call.
During the run, holding. on the offense. Penalty from the spot of the foul. Third down.
So Ravenwood accepts the penalty instead of giving Oakland 4th and short. They want 3rd and long again. This time 3rd and 20. That's right.
Excuse me, Lucas. Props to Oakland. I've never seen a team just call a flat-out run play on 3rd and 16 and almost convert it.
High snap. Creasy under pressure, and he is slammed down. Big hit by Sam Rohan. And Creasy is injured after the play. 3rd sack of the season by the junior Rohan. No flag on the play. Creasy just didn't see him.
And you saw the inside fake. That was number 95 for Ravenwood, Sam Rohan. He hits an inside fake with his head and his shoulders and then just attacks the outside and beats the right tackle on the edge. Creasy had no idea he was coming.
4th and forever now for the punt team. As getting it away is Jose Hernandez. And that will bounce and land in Oakland territory. They're taking a look at Creasy, but Ravenwood will take over on the plus 46, down 7, looking to even the score. A battle of unbeatens in Murfreesboro tonight as you look at Oakland quarterback Kyler Creasy. Good to see him standing on the sideline after taking this hit from Sam Rohan to end the last Oakland drive. Creasy, who had surgery on a broken collarbone suffered in the state championship loss to Houston, looks to be okay, and that's good to see. But here comes the Ravenwood offense. Maverick Chance back in at quarterback. They'll run up the middle and romps across the 40 down to the 39. Let's get an update on Kyler Creasy down on the sideline with Sammy Kincaid.
Hey, guys, you just mentioned that he is up and moving well. They looked at his right hip, and they put some icy hot on it, but he's good to go. But Coach Creasy came over right away to check on his son and said that the O-line has to watch their alignment. There's no coincidence that Kyler got taken down on that play.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. So we'll take a look as Creasy expected to come back out with the Oakland offense on their next drive. But for now, Bruno, as it's a quick screen to the left side for Cy Longley, bringing up 3rd down. Big opportunity for Ravenwood, who was in a 14-0 hole early in this game.
Ravenwood operating with a 2-quarterback system with Babalola and Maverick. Babalola having some good scrambles out of the pocket, not really some design runs, and dropping some bombs from his drop back passes. Maverick, more of the design run. But as you mentioned, Lucas, they don't really call things differently. It just sort of falls the way it does.
Hand off to Davis Dowland. And he gets away from the first wave of tacklers, able to get a few more out of it. Close to the 1st down marker, but it'll bring up 4th and short.
Design QB power right here. And Maverick gets touched by, I think, every member of the Oakland offense, still gaining about 3 yards to make it 4th and manageable, as it seems like the Ravenwood offense is going to stay on the field.
A correction, that was Chance on the carry. So Oakland trying to come up with a big stop. Don't go anywhere in the 4th quarter. The Bass Tire stop of the game between two fantastic defenses. Surely there will be plenty to choose from in this matchup of 8-0 teams, 6A state championship contenders. Here's 4th down. Ben Hubbard on the flip pass. He scampers across, picks up the 1st down, and out of bounds at the 34. That is a UA Local 572 1st down for senior wide receiver Ben Hubbard.
Hubbard is Ravenwood's go-to guy when they need something, right? I mean, we got to see him last year on Friday Night Rivals more than once. We'll get to see him again on this Friday Night Rivals season more than once. And Hubbard's a name that Ravenwood, in a precarious situation right there, they opt for the jet sweep, something we haven't seen tonight, and it works.
Just progressing deeper into Oakland territory. Right up the middle there with a head of steam. On the short carry was Caden Pace. Tough player, Pace. Dre Oldham emerged from that pile with his helmet coming off. And it's a short gain for Caden Pace, who is the younger brother of Carter Pace, who was a bell cow running back for this offense. But Caden got some playoff carries last year. Has taken advantage of some injuries around him and is a bell cow for this team. But they're going to go back to Hubbard here. He's got a crease down the left side, and he's carried out of bounds after picking up the first down. Ramsey makes the stop. Ravenwood wanted a penalty flag there on the sideline. Doesn't look like they'll get one. Another first down for the Raptors.
I thought it should have been a penalty call, as we do have a signal of a flag, but the offenses are lining up. There is no penalty on the field. It is clean, but Hubbard was taken down very late.
Chance in the gun. He'll run straight into the pile and knocked down for no gain. This is an Oakland defense coordinated by David Watson, who goes way back with Ravenwood coach Will Hester. Hester was David Watson's defensive coordinator at Siegel High School, just down the road earlier in his coaching career. So plenty of connections across sidelines in this one.
Chance putting together a good drive, too. Really efficient football being played.
On 2nd and 10, Chance wires it to the right side, and squeezing between two tacklers down to the 14 is Cy Longley.
It's really good timing on that pass. Caught Longley right when he was on his turn. So that connection right here, just watch Longley able to break out of his. So even though there's a player 1 yard one way, 1 yard the other, he's able to get some yards after the catch.
3rd and 1. Dowling just trying to power forward. Looks like he'll have enough, and he will. First down presented by UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry.
This is a good job of the Ravenwood offensive line. They secured their double teams on the line of scrimmage, first and foremost. With no backfield pressure, most running backs are going to be able to convert a 1 yard carry.
Chance with Hubbard in motion, fakes the give to the senior, but Oakland all over that one as he is thrown down. The Patriot with final contact was Caleb Ellison, the linebacker committed to play at Furman for the Paladins, the quarterback of this defense.
Ravenwood, they opted for that gap scheme quarterback series of plays, but what Oakland is doing on the defensive side is they're trying to attack them before they get to the line of scrimmage. It takes some time for gap scheme plays to develop, and if you can get to those first and second level pullers and attack them on the line of scrimmage, it's going to be hard for Chance to find anywhere to go.
Here's 2nd and 11. Chance will throw to Pace. Secures the catch and stiff arms his way out at the sideline. Escorted out of bounds by Bandy. So able to get it inside the 10, and it brings up a 3rd down for Ravenwood, and a big one here as they try to even the score.
Maverick Chance sees the pressure and goes straight to his back. And he does a good job of, when you have these quote-unquote easy throws, there are no such thing as easy throws. He's placing them really well so that his backs and his slots, they have room to make plays with their feet, get those extra yards. In a game like this, you need every single yard you can get.
3rd and 7. Oakland showing pressure, and a flag flies just before the snap.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, number 20. 5 yards, 3rd down.
It's the 3rd time tonight. 3rd and 2.
That one on Ethan Burrell, the senior linebacker. I think the referee's called. Regardless, what encroachment is if you are on the line of scrimmage and that forces a Ravenwood player to move or any sort, or you touch them, that can be considered a penalty. So it's different than in offsides.
Ravenwood takes its 2nd timeout to talk about this critical 3rd and 2 inside the Oakland 10. Raptors trailed 14-0 at the end of the first quarter after Oakland scored on each of its first 2 drives. A QB sneak by Kyler Creasy, set up by a big 74-yard screenplay to DeJuan Morris. And then a 74-yard touchdown connection from Creasy to Bandy made it 14-zip. Ravenwood had a big play of their own in the bag as Femi Babalola found Donovan Starr behind the Oakland secondary for a 65-yard touchdown to get on the board.
Man, if I'm Coach Hester for Ravenwood here, remember that fourth down where they had to convert closer to midfield. They ran that jet screen with Hubbard. Well, right now they're on the right hash, and there is a ton of field right there for Hubbard, a guy with his dynamic ability to move and operate. I would like to see that jet sweep come back alive again.
We'll tell you the player of the game coming up in the final frame, brought to you by Bart Durham. A big test for both of these teams outside of region play. Looking to create some positive momentum going into some rivalry matchups in the regular season finale next week. Ravenwood taking on Brentwood, and Oakland, of course, taking on Riverdale on the road. And then it's postseason football for both of these contending teams.
Tight formation.
Chance gonna keep it. Falling forward, may have just enough. And it looks like he does. First and goal, a UA local 572 first down. His head coach says he runs like a fullback, and that time he follows his blockers to pick up the first.
Yeah, the Ravenwood offensive line is doing a really good job of control. They're not letting any leakage come through. The thing that killed these short yardage plays from an offensive standpoint is penetration. The offensive line and even the tight ends, the bigger bodies they bring that are on the edges outside of the tackles, they're all doing a really good job of covering a lot of ground with their first step and then just making contact on the line. For a guy like Maverick Chance, he'll get that extra yard or two if you give him enough space.
Chance hands it off, nearly fumbling, but trying to stick it out for the touchdown. And it is a touchdown. Ravenwood scores. The handoff goes to Jalen Pollard on some trickery from the Raptors. Had to secure the football in the backfield, but once he did, he got just what he needed. And Ravenwood's an extra point away from tying it up.
Maverick Chance has been the bell cow in this series specifically. A lot of design QB runs, short yardage. He's been having his name called. Well, they cut Pollard right in front of him, and all he does is a little quick kind of pitch pass, and Pollard jiggles it a little bit, but he's able to secure it, get the score, make it a 14-14 game with that conversion of an extra point.
Extra point is up and good, and that evens us at 14 in this matchup of 8-0 teams in Middle Tennessee. Big response by the Ravenwood Raptors, coming up with a stop on defense. The sack that forced the punt allowed Ravenwood to take over in plus territory. And they finished the drive with some tough running by quarterback Maverick Chance. And in the end, Pollard, who primarily plays safety for this team, but that time punched it in himself.
All the momentum has suddenly switched to Ravenwood. If you've been with us since the start of the game, you'll know that first quarter was all Oakland outside of 2 penalties. Now Ravenwood controlling this entire second quarter, a tale of 2 quarters.
So with 3:42 to play, Oakland will get the ball back. They do have all 3 timeouts. And how much would Kevin Creasy love a long, sustained drive to milk the rest of this first half clock and finish with some points here?
Well, he would love it, and some might say he needed it as we take a look at our scoring summary. 13 plays, 46 yards, 5 minutes off the clock. Big time crunch. But Ravenwood, remember, deferred.
Crabtree will skip this one down across the 20, and it forces Hill to just fall on top of it. Oakland will take over at the 19. So the last time we saw Kyler Creasy, he took a big hit from his blind side by defensive end Sam Rohan. Was a little shaken up after the play, but as Sammy told us, rubbed some icy hot on it and good to go. He's a tough kid coming off of collarbone surgery in the offseason.
Icy hot will do about 10%. The adrenaline of a football game will carry the rest. He'll feel it after the game, but he'll be good for now.
Especially in a game like this. Creasy in the gun. Hands off. And pushing the pile across the 20. Looks like that is Tutt on the carry. And it can be hard to tell with this Oakland offense, the way they hand the ball off quickly and get guys under piles.
Also, this is just a very physical football game. The piles are taking about 20, 30 seconds themselves to clear out just from the physical contact.
Here's Tutt again. Gets past one man, looking for the big play. Stiff arm at the 40. There goes Craig Tutt. Pollard is the lone man to beat, and he pushes him out of bounds in Ravenwood territory.
Craig Tutt was able to swap the ball, changing direction. That play is supposed to hit front side, but he sees the open field in the back. He does a quick swap with his hand, and the football, a very dynamic eye. And now Oakland, still 3 minutes left with the flag on the field.
It was a 40-yard gain, but the Oakland offense is marching it backwards here. We'll await the call from Keith Dyer.
We got personal foul on the defense. We got personal foul on the offense. They offset. The result of the play is a first down.
Offsetting penalties after the play, so it won't wipe away the gain. And it is a UA Local 572 first down for Oakland star back Craig Tutt. First and 10. Creasy flips it to Tutt. And he is popped at the line of scrimmage, but still on his feet. Jaden Smitherman came down from his safety spot to deliver the blow. It's number one on number one there. Two guys that'll be playing college football. Smitherman, the senior, committed to SEMO. Plays college ball at Southeastern Missouri. And Tutt will have his pick across
wherever you want, kid.
offers. That's right. Leads the team in total touchdowns with 12 this season. Craig Tutt again. Across the 30. He's been the bell cow for this team all year with injuries popping up. DeJuan Morris, Tamari Hill hadn't appeared since week 5. And he's delivered, averaging over 9 yards per carry this season.
Yeah, we had Morris as our player to watch, kind of not declaring him the best player, but kind of to see, where he's at. And right now, I guess Tutt is kind of becoming the bell cow yet again. I mean, watch Tutt run right out. It takes two guys, and he still carries them about 6 yards there.
He's certainly the bell cow on this drive, as Pollard eventually gets him down in the red zone.
The problem right now for Ravenwood's defense is they're not making contact early enough. Tutt's able to get his feet churning about 4 to 5 yards just for free. Too much open field. And if you give him that, he's going to attack the defense's angles, keep them on their heels. It's going to be too much. And right now, Patriots are threatening.
Now Morris gets a carry. Jetting around the left side. DeJuan Morris is swung down at the 11. So he picks up 6. That brings up 2nd and 4. And clock is ticking as Oakland milks this thing down to the 1:16 mark and then takes its first timeout of the first half. Ravenwood with just 1 remaining. The Raptors will get the ball back to start the third quarter.
It's hard for me because when you watch Morris run, it's just so unique. It's hard for me to describe. I think the best way I could help visualize is whenever Morris rushes the football, it looks like someone's turning the lights on and off, on and off. He just kind of appears and disappears in different parts of the field. He has different control of his body. He's on his heels, toes. It's just Tavon Austin-esque.
Approaching halftime, so don't go anywhere. The United States Navy halftime report coming up as we highlight this week's Sonic Scholar athletes. Bring you participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here and across the country and more. The United States Navy, forged by the sea. So Will Hester maybe trying to figure out if he could get his offense the ball back one more time in this second quarter before maybe trying to double dip and get it back to start the second half. But first, Ravenwood's got to come up with the stop here.
Oakland seems to have their choice of how this half finishes out. Take some shots or just rush the football.
Morris will take the direct snap, fakes to Tut, and Ravenwood reads it well. Matt Anderson with a bear hug tackle at the line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and short. How have you seen the Ravenwood defense adjust after getting into that 14-0 hole early?
Well, right, I mean, their pass rush has been their key, right? So they've won the early down, and also Oakland, they're taking advantage of the Oakland penalties on offense. So when Oakland gets into those 2nd and 13, 15 thirds, that's where they've had their biggest success. They're taking that momentum that the Patriots are giving them and really doubling down on it.
Will Hester takes his 3rd and final timeout of the half with about 48 seconds left on the 2nd quarter clock. So that's Hester's final opportunity to stop the clock. And Oakland is trying to bring a lead into halftime. Now, something to keep in mind, field goal kicking, not a big strength of the Patriots. They've only attempted 4 field goals all season. They're 1 for 4, and they've rotated their kickers between Jose Hernandez and Malachi Frierson, the sophomore. The 1 field goal they have converted this season was from 28 yards.
Kind of reminds you of those BCS era Alabama teams where they were just so dominant at all phases, and then they would, God forbid, they'd have to kick a football.
It was such a mystery for so many years, wasn't it?
They were like, how can these guys not get one?
Well, a field goal from here would be about 25 yards out. But Kevin Creasy wants a 1st down and a touchdown to close out the half. So he'll send the offense back out there. Kevin Creasy, who calls the plays for his team. The 4-time state champion head coach.
Probably gap scheme play coming up.
Morris in the Wildcat again. Will fake the give, looking for a pocket of space, and he's dragging defenders across the 5 and down. Picks up the UA Local 572 1st down and is getting this Oakland offense on the ball.
Looks like they're going quick. Oakland, they do a real...
Morris loses the football. Oakland falls on it, and the Patriots are forced to call a timeout.
Listen, when you're good at something, you're good at something, so you don't want to change too much. But Oakland does they don't really mask what they're doing well, especially in the offensive line. I saw number 61 for the Oakland Patriots on the last 2 plays. That's their offensive lineman, Jalen Scruggs, junior O-lineman. You can see in his alignment, he's like a yard behind everybody else. I know exactly where they're running, the right side of the field. If the right guard is a yard in the backfield, the ball will go left. So that's something Oakland could probably do a little bit better.
Ellison landed on the football to rescue the drive. Number 8 in the middle of that huddle. So Oakland will have it 2nd and goal on the 5, and they call their 2nd timeout of the half. As Creasy talks to his team, Hester, trying to figure out how to manage these last 28 seconds. Good buddies, those two. They've never worked together, but they've kind of just come up coaching in Middle Tennessee high school football at about the same time. It was fun being down on the field with them pregame, just watching them chop it up like old friends. Both of them looking at this game very similarly as that measuring stick. Kevin Creasy telling us this week there is no better way to see what we are at this point in the season than to face a team we could potentially see in the state championship game.
It's kind of like that neighbor you have that you never really talk to, but it feels like you've known each other forever, kind of. That's how I describe it whenever I see them interact.
2nd and goal from the 5. Oakland does have 1 timeout in the pocket. And officials will discuss something here as Oakland huddles up. Play clock has not started. So wonder if there's a clock issue. And now Keith Dyer is coming to the near sideline. Maybe some sort of technical difficulties.
I wonder if it could. Yeah, it could be a few different things. Could be their communication. Could be clock.
So that puts everything on pause for the moment here at the tail end of this first half. Oakland took a 14-0 lead, scoring touchdowns on their first 2 series and getting stops, but Ravenwood came to life with a 65-yard touchdown pass from Femi Babalola to the Auburn commit, Donovan Starr. And then it was punched in on the goal line by Jalen Pollard to even things at 14. Ravenwood looking for its first ever win against Oakland. They're 0-4 in the first 4 meetings. And everything sorted out. Morris again taking the snap. Trying to get around defenders. Still on his feet and then driven down at the 10. Kenner Schlitt eventually gets him down, and Oakland is forced to take its final timeout with 17.7 seconds remaining. It brings them back to the 10, Bruno, and great defense by Ravenwood to potentially force an Oakland field goal.
It is, and while it is great defense, it's kind of uncharacteristic also for Oakland because the lead blockers on these plays, these gap scheme plays right now, they're kind of passive. They're going about 50 to 70% speed, and they're getting in the way of their dynamic rushers. Their dynamic rushers don't have space because their blockers are in it. If you're a lead blocker, I mean, it is reckless abandonment. Get up there and create something. You can't just wait for things to open up. And sometimes when you have these dynamic athletes rushing the football, you get a little spoiled with it.
So Will Hester's defense, which has been dominant all season, allowing only 5 points per game for a defense called by Drew Collier, comes up with the 3rd down stop. Well, the 2nd down stop, I should say. And it could force Oakland to put it in the air here on 3rd down rather than just come out and kick the field goal.
Ravenwood was in a pinch at the beginning of the game. 8 plays, giving up more points than they had against most teams. Now we appear to go to the end of the half with a tie ball game.
Oakland out of timeouts. Creasy back in the game with the fade to Morris. It's incomplete, but there's the flag. That was cornerback Wyatt Appleton in coverage. The junior can't believe it. But that'll give Oakland a 1st down with just 12 seconds left in the half on the pass interference.
When we watch the replay, we'll get a better look, but I have an assumption that he doesn't turn around, and even though he has his hands up, he is making contact right there. Oh, I don't know about that one. We'll get another look. Both of them have their hands on each other.
Pass interference on the defense. That's half the distance. 3rd down.
So what happened was Appleton, his left hand, he had that. They both had each other's jerseys with both hands. Well, Oakland went up to go make the play, and Appleton, his hand just stayed on just a little bit to restrict his chest and his shoulder opening. That was just enough for the official to throw the flag.
It does remain 3rd down, but they move the ball up to the 4-yard line. So again, if Oakland decides to run the football and doesn't get in, they have no way to stop the clock. Creasy's going to throw. Again, looking that way. Again. And there's a flag. Again. Donovan Starr in coverage, that time against Chase Bandy.
Oakland, as we get the pass interference call there.
During the play, pass interference on the defense. That's half the distance. 3rd down.
Oakland's offense been committing a few penalties. Now the Ravenwood defense at the end of the half, as we see the pass interference right here from Starr. Again, the left hand is what the referees are seeing right there. Starr's left hand is on the inside, and even though it's not restricting, it's giving these referees opportunity. I really don't. Either of those pass interferences probably could have been not called, but hey, the referees, whatever they call goes.
Ball now on the 2.5-yard line with 9 ticks left on the clock. Creasy rolling right, lofts into the end zone, incomplete.
Creasy's pass is
with 3.9 seconds left. Jaden Smitherman on the coverage. No flag. It's 4th down, and out comes the field goal team.
Adversity, and Ravenwood is overcoming. They might as well be the 300 at Thermopylae. I don't even know what to say. It is a very impressive to hold Oakland in this position over and over and over again, giving up yards just off penalties. A really impressive showing from Ravenwood's defense.
This is a 20-yard field goal for Jose Hernandez from the left hash. For the halftime lead. Flag flies.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 62. It's a 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So a very stuttered finish to this first half. Creasy is all thumbs up on the Oakland sideline.
Two programs, undefeated, usually show a lot of discipline and poise. Now that they're kind of coming into contact with each other, you kind of see things slipping here and there.
Turns it into a 25-yard attempt. It's good. Jose Hernandez boots it through, and Oakland takes a lead into the break. Fun first half between two of Middle Tennessee's best, coming into the game at 8-0. Let's go down.
You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Fun first half, as expected, between two 8-0 teams, a pair of 6A title contenders going head-to-head in Murfreesboro. Oakland leads by 3 at the break. Alongside Bruno Reagan, I'm Lucas Panzica as we go right to the first half highlights. And it was Oakland getting the football first and wasting no time, Bruno. This Patriot rushing offense is the headline, but they get it going in the passing game here with a quick pass to DeJuan Morris.
Yeah, Morris, who's our player to watch coming in, takes the screen, shows that he hasn't missed a step.
The USC commit gets it down to the 1, and Kyler Creasy with a little tush-push to finish the job.
The second only team I've ever seen successfully copy it, but they do take a playbook out of the Eagles and convert there on the short yardage.
That made it 7-0. Oakland gets a quick stop on defense, gets the ball back, and now Creasy to Bandy, 74 yards.
Caught Bandy right in stride, too. Creasy's best throw of the night, and it looked like Oakland was going to run away with it.
14-0, and that took us into the start of the second quarter, where Ravenwood started to get things going, but not until after this tip drill pick by Craig Tutt.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things when you're a quarterback. You see that football fly in the air, and Tutt actually dropped an interception before this one, but came back.
Now Ravenwood's defense started to step up a little bit, forcing this turnover. The fumble by tight end Mykeel Brown, recovered by Lane Summerell, and the Ravenwood offense retook the field. This is Femi Babalola's only completion of the first half, 65 yards to the future Auburn Tiger, Donovan Starr.
Don't let that fool you. Babalola has been on fire tonight. He's been throwing great passes. That was just their big conversion to get him back in it.
So Oakland trying to get back in it, but Sam Rohan drilling Kyler Creasy for the sack, and this dangerous Ravenwood defense comes up big again, and they mix in Jalen Pollard, the defensive back, to punch it in and even things at 14.
Great job by Pollard to secure that football first, then fall forward for the touchdown to even it up going into halftime. Oakland did get a field goal to make it 17-14, but here we take a look at our halftime stats. Oakland, again, up 17-14. Also, something you probably didn't guess coming into the game, they are leading in the passing statistic even more than their own rushing. 135 yards passing, led off by the screen in the first quarter. They have 108 yards rushing, kind of getting back to that into the second quarter, trying to control that time of possession. And Ravenwood also leading in passing on their own stat line, 90 yards to their 49 rushing. The totals about, favoring Oakland by 100 yards, and penalties on favor of Ravenwood. Both teams with one turnover.
You look at the penalties, that's a big key. Kevin Creasy talked about it with Sammy Kincaid going into the break, 6'4", 35, but fairly evenly balanced matchup here as Oakland leads Ravenwood by 3 here in Week 10. Each week, as you are looking at Gavin Macias back deep to receive, but they're going to move Donovan Starr up the field and smartly as Oakland pooches it right to the Auburn commit. And he's trying to flash that speed around the left side and just scuttles out of bounds at the 30. Nifty move by Ravenwood to rearrange some pieces back there and try to get Star the football. He's a dangerous player on the kickoff return. Saw him haul in a 65-yard touchdown in the first half to put Ravenwood on the scoreboard. And out comes the offense, a unit that has scored 36 points per game this season, that put up 28 in a win over Franklin last week coming out of the bye. And they will send out Femi Babalola. It is his turn to take the reps on this snap in this dual quarterback system.
Babalola, I was telling Lucas before the half, we got to see him last season as a sophomore, and coming in this season, I see he's kind of refined a lot of his mechanics. He looks a lot more poised in there, especially in the passing game. Very impressed so far.
He'll hand off here to Davis Dowling, who reverses field and then just goes right back up the middle and straight into the arms of Justin Barber and a few of his friends. No gain on the play, maybe half a yard. Femi Babalola collecting offers from Boston College, Coastal Carolina, MTSU, knocking on his door. A battle-tested junior, as is his counterpart, Maverick Chance. They'll flip it back to Hubbard here, who is committed to MTSU, and he bursts through a tackle at the 40 to pick up the BMC Metalworks first down. Gains 13.
Just kind of this little, it's not even a shovel. I think that does go into the stat sheet as a pass, right? That is a forward pass, even though it might as well have been a handoff.
That is his second completion of the night. And a flag flies here as Ravenwood was trying to throw the Oakland defense off balance here.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, number 20. Second down.
Is that their fourth encroachment of the night right now, Lucas? Yep. That is, I'm sure going into halftime you have some words for your team about the penalties, and that's not encouraging to see this early in the second half.
The seventh penalty called on Oakland, which cost them 40 yards tonight. Ravenwood has been called for 2, both pass interferences late in that field goal drive to close out the half for Oakland. Play action for Babalola. He'll just dump it off. Hubbard sprints out across the 40 into Oakland territory. Another first down brought to you by BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating its 50th year anniversary in 2024.
There's a lot of action from their offense crossing each other. It's just hard to determine who will get the ball. Babalola eventually rolls out there.
And he'll run it here. Is stymied at the line of scrimmage. Doesn't run it too often. Babalola, 20 carries on the season coming into the game. That's his first one of the night. 2 for 7, 77 yards, and the touchdown, 65 yards to Donovan Starr. But as you said, those numbers may be a little misleading for how Femi's played tonight.
Mm-hmm. He's thrown some good passes that came off the fingers of his receivers, through some tight windows too. I think he should be encouraged, and he's still operating very well here to start the second half.
On 2nd and 10, airs it out. Hubbard is there, and he catches it for the touchdown. Babalola shows off that big arm. That'll help the stat sheet. And the Raptors come out firing with a 38-yard score. Babalola to Hubbard to regain the lead.
Yeah, right there. Babalola, hey, you only need to complete 3 passes if they're all going to be for 40 yards plus and scores. But Ben Hubbard just gets right over the defense. It looks like Gus Ramsey for Oakland. He just kind of gets stuck in his back pedal, doesn't turn to commit to go over to the top protection. And Babalola's going to beat you over the top. He's proven that this game.
Crabtree knocks in the extra point, and Ravenwood leads Oakland 21-17 on the road after Ben Hubbard's second touchdown catch of the season on the deep ball from the junior quarterback, Femi Babalola. 7-time state champions, but they trail 21-17 to Ravenwood in this battle of unbeatens. 5 plays, 70 yards to open up the half. A 38-yard touchdown from Femi Babalola to Ben Hubbard. And now Oakland looks to formulate a response.
Ravenwood, just something happened at the end of the first quarter for them to just start chipping away. The defense came alive the way we thought they would. I mean, coming in, the Ravenwood defense has been the talk of the town. Get 14 points scored on them real quick, and now they've sort of locked in and pitched a shutout outside of a field goal since then.
Now Ravenwood trying to keep it away from the dangerous Oakland return men, and that flag will drop as the ball skips out on the sideline. Keith Dyer, been a relatively busy man tonight.
Yeah, there's been some issues outside of the game itself, whether it be equipment, maybe some clock issues, some stuff they've had to work through.
We got a free kicking infraction on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
That chess match on special teams has been an interesting one, too, as you've got dangerous future power conference players returning for both teams, and both trying to keep away from them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the two dogs barking at each other, but just not engaging yet. They're just kind of feeling each other out, but God forbid one of them actually gets aggressive or gets the football in their possession, because they'll make a play.
Well, Kevin Creasy, Oakland head coach, loves his special teams unit, and for good reason. They have been dominant at times this season. 3 punt returns for a touchdown, 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown. They've won games on blocked kicks. They've blocked punts for scoop and scores. Field goal kicking maybe hasn't been the biggest strength, but they've found a way to take advantage of everything else, as they'll force Ravenwood to re-kick here, back it up 5 yards, and why not when you've got the likes of Craig Tutt, DeJuan Morris, and T.T. Hill back deep. See what Crabtree elects to do here. He'll skip it right down the middle of the field, and there's another flag on the kickoff.
Mention our officiating crew is busy tonight. They just get a little bit busier each snap.
That time the side judge giving us the call of an offside on the kicking team. So they'll back it up another 5, and Ravenwood will have to kick off from their 30. And we saw this come into play on the opening kickoff, which they bounced to keep away from the return men, and it allowed Oakland to start in plus territory, and they quickly took advantage and scored to open up a 7-0 lead.
Tale of two halves is kind of flipping now. Ravenwood kind of hurting themselves to open up this series after their score. One more penalty, they'll have to kick from the parking lot. So
for the 3rd straight time, Drew Crabtree to kick it off. And this one, he'll just blast deep. Caught Craig Tutt off guard a little bit. He's got to catch it on the bounce at the 7. And Tutt is met at the 15, shakes that tackle, and dragged down eventually before he reaches the 30. So there you go. There's that chess match. Craig Tutt makes something out of it, but Ravenwood hits it over his head.
Tutt only had one man to beat, but now the Oakland offense will come out not as favorable field position as they want, led by Creasy. Tonight, 5 of 8 for 135 yards and 1 touchdown. The senior.
He's got 14 passing touchdowns on the year, only 1 interception. Coach's son got healthy in the offseason, bulked up to lead this Oakland team back to the 6A state championship, where they fell last year, ending a run of 3 consecutive state titles. Tutt right up the middle. Lane Summerell is there plugging the gap. Number 5 on that Ravenwood defense, a tackling machine, according to his head coach. The co-leader in tackles for this team alongside number 7, Matt Anderson.
Ravenwood defense picking it up as the game has gone on. Typically when offenses find success early, it kind of avalanches and snowballs, but Ravenwood, being an exception to the rule right now, they've sort of locked it down as the game's gone along.
It's about a half-yard gain. They'll go to Tutt right up the middle again, and he is just chased out and driven out First by Sam Rohan up the middle, and then the rest of the Ravenwood defense saw him out at the sideline, and Navy gained another half yard on the play.
Yeah, coming up with the unfortunate lose 10 yards, but also lose control. He's able to reclaim all the yards he lost from forward progression and makes it at least a 3rd and 11 or 12 rather than a 3rd and 20. Oakland showed that they can still hit it over the top, so they're not entirely out of the passing game with Creasy.
And they certainly did on that 74-yard touchdown to Chase Bandy to take a 14-0 lead. This time they'll just screen it out to Hill, looking for the yards after catch as he bundles forward to the 35. Stop made by Starr. Makes it 3rd and manageable for the Patriots.
I can feel the frustration because from a blocking standpoint, and I've been saying this about Oakland, there's just a lot of pitter-pattering with their feet. Go out there and create contact right there. Let Hill or some of your better athletes give them some space to move. There's just a lot of passivity from Oakland. It's kind of uncharacteristic.
Correction, it's 4th down for the Patriots, and they're going to go on 4th and 3. From their own 35. Creasy barking out the hard count. Play clock is under 10. And we'll see if they do snap it here. Kevin Creasy calls his first time out of the half. So, Oakland hits the pause button, and we'll take a break with them as the Raptors lead the Patriots by 4 on the road in a battle of 8-0 6A teams on MyTV 30.
Welcome back to Oakland, hosting Ravenwood, and I am pleased to be joined by Commander Christopher Yates. First off, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for joining me tonight. And I know that you guys just celebrated something, the 249th birthday of the Navy, right?
That's correct. About a week and a half ago, we celebrated the Navy's 249th birthday. And every year I get to reflect on the Navy's birthday and kind of what it means to me. And for me, it's more of a family, history of naval service. My great cousin Jack served in the Pacific during World War II. My father was a 30-year Navy veteran. He flew helicopters, and I've been lucky enough to serve for the last 18 years, also flying helicopters. So when you kind of do the math, my family's been serving in the Navy for 30% of the Navy's history, which I just think is incredible. But moreover, what I appreciate the most, I think, is the opportunity to travel the world on deployments and in support of humanitarian aid and disaster relief operations, and of course military operations as well. But I grew up in central Missouri, a landlocked state, much like Tennessee, and I can tell you that most of my friends never left. So the Navy has also afforded me a great opportunity to get out, see the world, see people from all over this great nation, and give me life skills and technical skills that I can certainly carry with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And if somebody's watching this and they're thinking, hey, I think I might want to join the Navy, what is your final thing that you might say to them that says, hey, this is why you should join?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. There's so many options to choose from. If you're looking to get life skills and money for college after one enlistment, that's a way to do it. If you're looking for a full career in STEM or, advanced technologies, that's another way to do it. Or if you just want to get out and see the world on the Navy's dime, that's a way to do it too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you again for your service and your family's service. And Lucas, I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth.
Thanks, Sammy. Really cool stuff there on the Navy's birthday. And how many people are going to be saying go Navy tomorrow as the undefeated midshipmen host the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Man, there's playoff implications maybe for this year's Navy-Army game. So
sure are. Maverick Chance gets his turn for the Ravenwood offense after the Raptors forced the punt, and he will uncork one deep, incomplete. Flag flies. It was intended for Max Kimple, the Raptors' lead receiver, who does not yet have a catch tonight. Wonder if we get offensive pass interference on this one.
I can almost guarantee you we will get offensive pass interference on this call.
Here's Keith Dyer.
Play. We got pass interference on the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
You can see the senior Max Kemple there. He gets that's about as egregious as a push off as you can get. The arms start in right to your chest, and then you extend out to create that space. It is a good call, and it backs Ravenwood's offense up to first and forever, I believe. I'll let Lucas try and discern this down a distance.
The line to gain is the 42 as Ravenwood snaps it from the 17. So here's 1st and 25. Quick screen. Hubbard using that speed as he is pushed out of bounds after the original line of scrimmage. Does well to pick up the yardage loss to the penalty.
Good job by Chance and Hubbard to essentially mulligan their series here. We'll make it a 2nd and 8 on this one. Good lead blocking there to get Hubbard out in the space, able to recover a lot of these yards.
A little 17-yard catch and run. Right back to Hubbard. Got blockers on the left side, and he has the first down as he approaches midfield, but Laundry in the backfield.
This will be a holding call on Ravenwood, and they will go back again on what are some good offensive plays. Just some foots being shot.
Helping lead the way there.
During the run, we have holding on the offense, number 15. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
The left side of your screen right there. Yep, number 1 for Oakland getting blocked by number 15 for Ravenwood, Longley. Longley just gets the inside of his pads, but he is attached and he's restricting movement on the chest. That's going to get called every time.
So that makes it 2nd and 14. 10-yard spot foul. Maverick Chance calls his own number. And the ball's out. Oakland says it's theirs. And it is. The Patriots force a turnover. Caleb Ellison, the Furman commit, coming up huge on that defensive series, just punching it away from the junior quarterback.
We can see the ball. It gets extended right there. You have to keep it high and tight if you're running a chance. That's a mistake he'll want back. The knee doesn't get down in time, and that is a fumble that Oakland recovers on their side of the field. The offense getting ready to start this new series.
Check that. Taurus Allen gets credit for the forced fumble. And Oakland's offense is right back on the field with the handoff around the right side as the Patriots mix in Kamani Bass, the sophomore. That's his 21st carry of the year. And Kevin Creasy loves to spread the ball around to his playmakers. Let's go down to Sammy Kincaid on the sideline.
Hey guys, I was just listening in on the Ravenwood sideline. It was pretty quiet earlier, and they're very energetic over there now. But the big message is, hey, they aren't going to blow it quick. Don't wait for the whistle. Get on the ball. They're trying to play a lot faster, but as you play faster, you also have to take care of the ball, which is where they found themselves there.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. And this is not an offense that you want to hand the ball to in plus territory. As Oakland is able to move the chains, Coach Will Hester looks on as his team had all the momentum. And it's a team that has been sitting at a +7 turnover margin coming into tonight. And the Raptors have turned it over twice.
The physicality of the game is starting to affect both of these teams. It's kind of like two billy goats ramming into each other. Whichever one can kind of keep their composure going into these last drives, that's what will pull away.
Tamari Hill's turn. Up the middle. And the pile gets him across the 15. The senior with offers from Georgia Tech, Memphis, Vanderbilt, West Virginia, among others. Do you have a pitch for him to join your red-hot Vanderbilt Commodores?
Yeah, watch the game tomorrow when we take down Texas at home. You'll want to join.
There is precedent for that this season. Here's 2nd and 5.
Sorry, I was going to say, plus they got good cookies in the student hall. Promise.
That's the real reason. Coming around the right side. That's Hill again. No, correction, that is Bass. And he gains a couple.
these Oakland rushes right here that you've seen kind of get 2 to 3 yards against this Ravenwood defense, now they're starting to collect 4, 5, even 8. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some explosive plays here, but they're doing a good job of staying ahead of the chains, and now we get a third and manageable where you can get into 4-down territory as well.
Now Summerall on the stop. This is 3rd and 4. Right up the middle. This is Hill, and he's got the first down. Presented by BMC Metalworks. It sets up 1st and goal at the 5. And Oakland just chips away after forcing the fumble against Ravenwood quarterback Maverick Chance, looking to regain the lead. They have not led since the 2nd quarter. Up the middle, Hill bouncing off tackles, flag flies as the pile pushes into the end zone. And they're going to rule him down at the inch, but we'll see if it comes back.
During the play, we have illegal formation on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Another penalty pops up for this Oakland offense to back them up. Makes the job a little bit tougher, as it's 1st and goal at the 6 when they thought they had it right on the inch. No, correction, they put it down at the 10.
Essentially on a new set of downs for Oakland. A lot of success. I mean, they're churning the clock right now. This is typical Oakland time of possession football.
Hill. He is stopped before he reaches the line of scrimmage, and that is Matt Anderson, the junior linebacker.
You can see Anderson on the far side of your screen, comes in on the backside. The backside linebacker has the potential for some of the biggest plays on the defense. If you have the athleticism to go laterally, sideline to sideline, you can really create some havoc in the backfield. And Anderson there, able to actually create a TFL and back Oakland up.
Puts him at 9.5 on the season and tackles for loss. 2nd and goal now from the 13. Up the middle with room, it's Bass, and he's got a path to the end zone. Touchdown Oakland, and the Patriots retake the lead.
That is the thing about Oakland. They might look one-dimensional, but don't let that fool you. There's so many moving parts to their offense, and Bass right there gets his number called when he knifes across the quarterback's face and virtually goes untouched into the end zone, running through the A-gap. That's something that Oakland's misdirection really opens up.
It's the first rushing score of the season for Bass, his 3rd total touchdown. The extra point is perfect from Hernandez. And we've got a heavyweight fight going on here in Murfreesboro as Kamani Bass and Oakland throw the next punch to take a 24-21 lead late in the 3rd quarter. So that gets this Oakland crowd back into it. As a quick reminder that Fridays at 6:30, Fox 17 Football Frenzy is live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. This year, it's a pregame show. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick gets you ready for all the high school football games. See the fans, the interviews, and more Fridays at 6:30. Don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust.
Just a reminder, as Ravenwood is set to receive, expect junior quarterback Femi Babalola to come out for Ravenwood. Maverick Chance had the fumble on the last series. Now Babalola responsible for 14 of Ravenwood's points tonight, both over the top, big explosive touchdown passes. Ravenwood will look to him to get back in front.
As the Patriots will kick it off. Hernandez. Boots it high and away from Donovan Starr. Hubbard fields it but slips at the 27. That's where Ravenwood will retake the field on offense. And this is exactly what you want in this type of setting. Two 8-0 teams, heavyweight bout in Week 10. Sammy Kincaid, what's the environment like down on the sideline?
Hey, it's starting to get chippy down there on the field. You can see some of the players throwing a little extracurriculars at each other. But it is getting chippy, and as soon as I'm on the Oakland sideline right now, and as soon as they came back over to sit under the tent, the coaches said, hey, we're cutting that out right now. We're going to play a clean game, and you're going to go back out there and win this. That was the message to the players.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. You feel like both coaches are going to learn a lot about their team in the next quarter and less than a half, as Babalola's under pressure and does not complete it to the near sideline, intended for Patrick Sullivan.
Would might call Babalola's name in more traditional drop back passing settings, not getting those yardages you want on first down. Now they might have to rely on the drop back.
7-play, 31-yard drive for Oakland, turning the Ravenwood fumble into points. And Femi Babalola gets his turn in this dual quarterback system for the Raptors. Good pass protection, and this time he does connect with Sullivan. 9th catch of the year for the senior. Gains 5. Brings up 3rd and 5.
Good job, big man.
Dangerous spot for Ravenwood in the sense that you know Oakland's starting to reclaim some momentum, and now you have a chance, especially for Oakland. I mean, you could force Ravenwood on a 3 and out and get the ball back with good field position again. Again, you don't want to say must-have, but a very important 3rd down here for Ravenwood.
The spot puts him at a 4-yard gain and brings up 3rd and 6. Babalola moving around in the pocket, and he guns it to the sideline where it's caught. Donovan Starr secures the grab, and he's bumped out. There's a little bit of that post-play chatter.
Great job by Femi on the run. It looked like Starr might have juggled the football, but I thought he did complete it as well. We'll get a better look right here. I think he did have his feet in with control.
Kyrie Gaynor made the stop. Running out to the left side for what looks like a first down gain is Ben Hubbard. As Ravenwood's really made an effort to get him the football tonight. And a flag looks like it will negate that first down gain.
Kind of switching up. Oakland's offense having trouble with the penalties in the first half. Now Ravenwood.
We have holding on the offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Take a look on the, yep. Again, hands on the inside and not moving your feet. That's Longley getting called for the holding. And both coaches are going to have a lot of film to look back with their teams on and point to and say, hey, if you want to be a championship football team, we got to cut X, Y, and Z out.
Second holding call on the junior receiver. Bunch set for Ravenwood on 1st and 20. Here comes the pressure. Trying to escape it. Babalola nearly throws an interception to Ethan Burrell.
You can see Babalola fall for a very common disease in football called a little bit of do-much-itis, where he's trying to scroll out of the pocket and gets a lot of pressure on his backside near his throwing hand. He throws across his body. All those kind of set a recipe for disaster with Oakland almost getting the near interception from number 20 Burrell on their side of the field. Want to make sure you take care of that football.
2nd and 20. Babalola wings it out to the right side, and that one thrown into a dangerous area, but tipped up and incomplete. That time it was Kyrie Gaynor, who does have 3 interceptions on the year, in on the coverage against Ben Hubbard.
Actually, a perfectly thrown ball, albeit dangerous. Babalola is getting a little bit riskier out there. But again, those are balls at the highest level of football you would expect caught, Lucas.
3rd and 20. This Oakland crowd starting to get on its feet. Trying to get the Patriots the ball back. Babalola needs a big chunk play here, but he throws that one into the turf, and it brings up 4th and long.
Yeah, there are no good play calls for 3rd and 20. I mean, you just got to call what you can and roll with it, and hopefully there's a busted coverage, but Oakland not keen to make too many mistakes. We've seen a few tonight, but they're able to hold and get this series out, and we would assume set up great field position for their offense.
So out to punt is Drew Crabtree. High spinning ball that bounces out of bounds. Does not give Tutt nor Hill a chance at the return. Coming up in the 4th quarter, we'll give you the Bart Durham Player of the Game, and there are a few candidates in this one. With over 2 minutes to go in the 3rd, Oakland gets it back with a 3-point lead. Big occasion. A couple of 6A state championship contenders meeting in Murfreesboro. Happy to be here. Alongside Bruno Reagan, I'm Lucas Panzica. Sammy Kincaid on the sideline on the Tennessee Army National Guard's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. And off up the middle, going nowhere. 104.5 The Zone in the house as well, calling the game on radio. As Will Bowling is sharing the booth with us tonight. And that carry went right up the middle for a yard, with Mykel Brown, the tight end, getting the give. Kevin Creasy told us this week, we'll sneak him the ball every now and again, trying to catch defenses off guard.
Oakland not too urgent with their operation, but not using the entire clock either.
Going right up the middle again, flipping over the pile is Hill. Gains another 1 or 2, depending on the spot. And that's going to make it 3rd and 7. Ball placed right underneath Oakland's 40-yard line.
2 runs up the middle for only about a buck or 2 each. Sets up a 3rd and long for Oakland. Ravenwood, we've seen what they can do when they can put their ears back in pass rush.
Creasy looks right, throws that way. It's complete. Bandy trying to spin off tackles, and Ravenwood has to gang tackle and out of bounds. There's a little bit of that chippiness Sammy was talking about. No flag. It's not enough for the 1st down, so it brings up a 4th and 4.5 scenario for Oakland, who looks like it's going to keep the offense on the field, but Kevin Creasy does have the ability to let this thing go to the 4th quarter.
Right there for Ravenwood, the tackle made again by Matt Anderson. I think it was a really well-blocked play actually there by Oakland, but Ravenwood just played essentially perfect defense.
They're going to get him on the ball here. 7 seconds. Creasy barking out the hard count. And we have a fun finish in store out here at Oakland High School. The Patriots lead the Raptors in the battle of unbeatens. Oakland up 3 going into the final frame. Three down, 1 to go in Murfreesboro. And if it's anything like the majority of this game, it's going to be a fun final 12 minutes out here at Oakland High School. Welcome back. Alongside Bruno Reagan in the booth, I'm Lucas Panzica. Sammy Kincaid pacing the sidelines downstairs, as Oakland will send out the punt team on this 4th and 4 on their own 42-yard line. So Ravenwood seemingly coming up with a big stop. They're going to keep the defense out there just in case, and that is a high snap for punter Matthew Moore to deal with, and he does well to keep it bouncing at the 5. It is down at the 1. They'll mark it at the 2, but it is a near perfect punt by the junior Matthew Moore.
Take a look at formation. good job controlling the high snap. Not too much of a rush from Ravenwood, and able to track the football. You see so often guys will run their tail offs to the other end, but they just don't get to spot the football. They do a good job of tracking it and setting up Ravenwood, forcing him to go 99. Tail of 3 quarters so far. The first was basically all Oakland. Second was all Ravenwood. Third was a little bit even.
Maybe that's the Tennessee Army National Guard play of the game. Special teams have played a role tonight. We'll find out later on in the fourth quarter. So Ravenwood comes out at the 2 with Maverick Chance back in at quarterback. Trading series are the 2 QBs. They've done it all season, and it's helped them to an 8-0 start. Throwing from his own end zone, Chance might run here. He does, stays on his feet, and Maverick Chance has the first down, giving the Raptors some breathing room out to the 15.
Looked a little dangerous here for Ravenwood at first. I thought he would only get back to the line, but able to break out to the outside. You can see right there a little bit of lack of discipline, something you don't see from Oakland. You want to make sure you always have the outside of the football protected, but Chance able to get to the outside, give this offense some breathing room.
UA local 572 first down on the 13-yard pickup. Handed off up the gut. Falling forward is Will Harry getting his first carry, the senior tailback. So Ravenwood showing off some of that running back depth. Raptors trailed 14-0 after the first quarter, and then battled back, scoring 2 straight touchdowns in the second to tie it up at 14. Oakland with a chip shot field goal to take it into halftime with a 3-point lead, and then Ravenwood scored to open up the third, and there is a heck of a sidearm out to Patrick Sullivan, the 19-yard line. It only gains about a yard, but my goodness.
The most impressive foot you'll ever seen gain in football right there. Risky, but hey, in a game of inches, maybe that foot could be the difference to continue this series as we go to third and about 7.
Maybe it's the Tennessee Army National Guard play of the game. Who's to say? 3rd and 7. Another sidearm, that time to Hubbard. He drops the football, and they will not rule that a fumble. Incomplete. Oakland thought they might have had another turnover.
Yeah, if the ball takes a track backwards from the initial throwing point, that would be considered a lateral, and even if it's incomplete, a live ball. But you see right there, it has a forward arc to it, so that would be ruled as an incomplete pass, not a live football.
Would have been tough for Hubbard to get the first anyway, with Oakland defenders hovering over him, and after getting 1 first down, the Raptors are going to have to punt it away from inside their own 20. There's the boot from Crabtree. It's a good one that's fielded by Tutt. He's got blockers down the right side, but tripped up across the 45. And that was a big stop by Wyatt Appleton on special teams.
A flag on the
Oakland
field, too.
Has it up 3 on the Tennessee Army National Guard's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law on MyTV 30. Oakland takes over at midfield after a block in the back penalty. Negated some of the return yardage on the punt by Craig Tutt. But still excellent starting field position for this Oakland offense with a 3-point lead and 10 minutes to play. And there's some running room up the middle for Tamari Hill. He gets the Patriots down to the 44-yard line, gain of 6. And this is where the strength-on-strength aspect comes up. Oakland up 3, driving to try and take a 2-score lead against a Ravenwood defense that, again, coming into today, had allowed 7 points in their last 4 games combined.
Yeah, Lucas, an unstoppable force is meeting an immovable object, and something's got to give at this point, so it's just science.
It's just science. Gracie fakes the toss, goes up the middle to Hill. He follows the blocker down to the 37.
Hill didn't have his eyes up for about 8 yards to that rush. He committed to the fullback dive aspect of this option play and was surprised to lift his head and see some open grass. Take a look right here. They love this knifing on the inside. They've scored off of this play, but Hill just keeps his shoulder down and lowers the boom.
Jake Roberts eventually got him down. There's Kevin Creasy, 10th season. Eyes on a 5th state championship, in charge of the Oakland Patriots, but first trying to take care of business tonight in a matchup of undefeated teams. Up the middle they go again. This time they'll sprinkle in a carry to Avery Hainsworth, who has got some offers of his own. Kentucky, Oklahoma have asked about the senior. Has 3 touchdowns for the Patriots this year, playing the H-back position.
A lot of talent on the field tonight. Ranges from SEC to, those mid-majors. All still very high level of football.
10 state championships combined in the history of these two programs. Oakland was 7 of them, but a much longer history than Ravenwood that started up in the early 2000s. Nice move in the backfield by Hill, but he is tossed down by Summerell at the 30. And that will bring up 3rd and short for this Oakland offense. Making it 3rd and 3 at the 30-yard line.
Ticking into the last 7 minutes of the game, you can kind of see a lot of hands on hips and catching of the breath. The physical aspect is going to come in. Who's the more conditioned team? Who's ready for these sort of moments going into playoff time?
And that's what you want, right? If you're these coaches, you're going to be playing teams, maybe not even to the level of this caliber, but what better way to prepare you for a postseason run?
Oh, absolutely. If I wasn't in this booth forced to be professional, I'd be salivating right now. I love it. I love it.
3rd and 3. Hainsworth again looking for the tough yards, and he's not going to have the first as he picks up 1, maybe half a yard. It brings up 4th and short. And Kevin Creasy isn't going to hesitate on this one. Talking to his son, Kyler, who's been hanging out around this program since he was 7 years old when his dad took over as the head coach. And hard to find a stronger connection than that. Head coach and father talking to his son and quarterback.
Creasy giving some fired up advice to Creasy. Let's see how Creasy handles it.
4th and 2. The direct snap. And slammed in the backfield. Driven back. Turnover on downs. Making the hit was Pollard. Number 4 for Ravenwood. Looking like his father, Bernard, who had a long NFL career. Some time with the Titans. As he drills Chase Bandy in the backfield.
That's just a typical zone play right there. More of a mid or inside zone. And the only way to lose on a zone play is to get outreached by the defense. As an offensive lineman, you're supposed to make contact and get on the outside. Well, the Ravenwood defense, they get across the face and they attack the play side. That could be the Bass Tires stop of the game. We will decide coming up later in this quarter.
Only 6 minutes and change to play. Femi Babalola back out on the field for Ravenwood. Down 3. Escapes the pocket. Babalola wants to run. And he's rolled down at the 40. Tutt got him down. And Ellison finished the job. So that makes it 2nd and short on the scamper by the junior quarterback.
You can see those pearly whites. Babalola smiling ear to ear. The moment doesn't faze him. And that's a big kid out there running in that open space, too.
Well, both of these quarterbacks have played in big games throughout the course of their Ravenwood career. Babalola screens this to Hubbard, and he does well to come back for the catch and then scoot out of bounds after picking up the first down. Ben Hubbard catches his 8th pass of the ball game. That puts him over 100 yards for the night with a touchdown, the 38-yard score that put Ravenwood up 21-17 in the 3rd. So Hubbard, right at about his season mark in receiving, came into the night with 16 catches for 103 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah, and it's kind of good that they're getting their guys activate as they needed to. So Hubbard is a guy we saw last year really have a lot of production. It's good to see him start to, pick up the production going into the, I guess, money games you could call them.
Babalola over the top. That falls incomplete. Sailed over the head of Starr, and Kyrie Gaynor was there waiting for his 4th interception of the season. The Ravenwood sideline happy to see that bounce off the turf here at Oakland.
I've given Babalola a lot of credit on his throws tonight. 7 of 15 for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns on 2 explosive passes over top of the Oakland defense. But right there, kind of got away with one.
Here's the option, and the pitch goes over the head of Dowland. He's able to pick it up on the bounce, but he's drilled into the ground by Dre Oldham. The senior defensive tackle comes up with the TFL. And that's a big loss for Ravenwood, but fortunate, again, to avoid the turnover.
Number 21, Dre Oldham, is just unblocked on the backside. He tracks us on the other side. That shows how important effort is. If you're an unblocked guy, you got to cut across the angle and be the backup guy. Control the outside. But right there, he makes the play to set up 3rd and 15.
Babalola looking deep, has his man, it's caught. Spinning across the 45 and into Oakland territory is Max Kimple. Will Hester calls him the security blanket for this offense. He's the lead receiver for the Raptors. That's his first catch of the day, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Starts with great pass protection, great pass. He hits the circle button here about 4 times in a row, and is about to get free. But Kimple with the big play for Ravenwood to extend this drive. Only 4 minutes left to play, down by 3.
A UA local 572, first down on 3rd and long. Getting into crunch time here in week 10. This is Pace behind left guard. Stopped as he crosses the 35. Both teams stepping out of region play for this one, but hoping to preserve undefeated records. And if you're Ravenwood, how much are you trying to chew some clock here with under 4 minutes to go?
It's very hard to chew up 4 minutes when you cross the other side of the field. Typically 4 to 6 minutes is about one whole series. But if you are efficient, you can come up to the goal line with a minute or 2 left.
Up the middle they go again with Pace. Battles to the 27. And it looks like it'll move the chains. It will. An 8-yard run by Pace. 1st and 10 from the 27 as the Raptors continue to chip away and the clock restarts. Now the Oakland sideline trying to get the crowd involved on a huge defensive series. Oakland trying to preserve a 3-point lead in what has been a back and forth affair in Murfreesboro.
What a game. Coming down to the wire.
Hubbard in motion. Babalola looking that way. He throws that way, but it's to Kimple through his hands and incomplete. And again, Gaynor had a chance at it, but it brings up 2nd and 10.
There's so much chip drilling going on tonight. It makes my heart drop. The worst thing you can do the first worst thing you can do as a wide receiver is obviously drop the football. If it hits your hands, you're expected to catch it. The second worst thing you can do is tip it up like a volleyball set for the defenders that are flying around you. Ravenwood, again, they've caught a few breaks this game.
It's how Oakland came up with their first turnover forced of the night, the Craig Tutt interception early. Babalola with the quarterback keeper has Caden Pace, the running back, as his lead blocker, and he's tugged down at the 23. That'll gain 4. Brings up 3rd and 6.
It looked like Babalola there had a lot of room to move, but he was just kind of wrapped up from behind.
It's a long 6. The junior over the middle, overthrown, incomplete. That time was looking for Longley, and that stops the clock and brings up 4th down.
Looks like the field goal unit is coming out to try and even out our score with 2.5 minutes left.
It's a 41-yard attempt, and Carlos Guerra is going to get a chance at it. He's the man with the big leg. And this is to even the score. On the way, has the distance, and he drills it. Tied up at 24, Carlos Guerra, the junior kicker, does his job, and we are level again with 2:22 to go. Fun finish when we come back between two of the best in 6A football in Middle Tennessee. Tied up at 24. Tied up at 24, just over 2 minutes to go after an 11-play, 45-yard field goal drive that ended with a 41-yard boot by the junior, Carlos Guerra. All back with the chance to drive for a potential game-winning score. Alongside Bruno Reagan, I'm Lucas Panzica, Sammy Kincaid on the sidelines. Week 10, 2 undefeated teams. Gorgeous night in Murfreesboro. It just doesn't get much better than this. Crabtree. End over end. And the first touchback of the evening. Remember, Fridays at 6:30, don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. This year it's a pregame show. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick gets you ready for all the high school football games. See the fans, the interviews, and more. Fridays at 6:30. Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. Fun week in store next week, and we'll see this Ravenwood team again in the Battle of the Woods as they host Brentwood. But first, 2:22 to go here, up the middle. Tamari Hill across the 25. Battles for 6, maybe 7 yards. Brings up 3rd and 3.
There's going to have to be a sense of urgency here for Oakland, as they have the downs, but they don't have the time to operate the way they want to. It's going to be unusual for them to kind of play a little bit of hurry up, going under the 2-minute mark now.
Been so evenly matched tonight. Ravenwood with 307 yards of total offense. Oakland with 318. Make it 321. As that's Tutt falling to the 30, just enough to move the sticks with a 3-yard gain and a UA Local 572 first down. The premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry, UA Local 572.
See Christ having to go get the play, come back to the huddle. 1:30 only left with a lot of field to cover, 70 yards to be exact. Could come down to an overtime game.
2 timeouts. Creasy's going to throw, and he'll throw it away. Looked like he had 2 reads in the middle of the field there and made the quick decision.
Yeah, Ravenwood just played extremely soft coverage with their high safeties, and they were trying to take it over the top. So the second they showed that Ravenwood was getting a little bit more back and not biting on it, they just threw it out of bounds, trying to see if they can take one.
Well, it stops the clock at 1:17, and now Will Hester's probably thinking about getting the ball back with all 3 of his timeouts. Creasy back in the shotgun. His lead receiver is Chase Bandy, number 2. He's looking that way and just dirks it at the feet of Craig Tutt. Ravenwood's demanding a roughing call, but Tutt was in the area. 3rd and 10.
If you're in the pocket and you throw it at the feet, as long as it's in the direction, it won't be a grounding call. If you go outside the pocket and just throw it to no man's land, that's where you'll start to get those calls.
We haven't seen a lot of DeJuan Morris, the USC commit, in this 4th quarter.
Great point. Our player to watch, trying to watch exactly how much work he was going to get today. But Oakland, again, relying mostly on Tutt out of their backfield.
Been a little banged up this season. Big 3rd and 10, and Oakland understands the importance as Kevin Creasy takes his second time out to discuss it.
Probably just want to see the formation. They might go out there with that same play, but they want to see the personnel, how they align, things like that, where to attack on the field. But Ravenwood, with all 3 of their timeouts and also showing they have the kicking game, be a little worried if I'm in this position.
That's right, the 41-yard field goal by Carlos Guerra. A season long by the Ravenwood Raptors. Previously, the long was 38, and that was by Drew Crabtree. Guerra had typically been the kickoff guy, and he comes up in a big moment. So as the kickers warm up on the Ravenwood sideline, Oakland will talk through this 3rd and 10 play call. Now, typically for a wing T offense, Bruno, this would be a near impossible situation, but Oakland has developed this reputation over the years of being so multiple with the wing T base. But Will Hester, who you see on the right there, an old buddy of Kevin Creasy's, says he jokes with Creasy all the time that he's never met a play he doesn't like.
Yeah. No, they have the opportunity. They're not one-dimensional in the sense they're only going to do the same thing, right? They're still a dynamic offense. But there are, it's just the law of football nature where your offense is better at some things than others.
And little trickery here, the flea flicker. Creasy looking deep, throws to Bandy, and he makes the catch. Absorbs the hit from Pollard at the end of it, but hangs on. And that is a huge first down pickup to Chase Bandy, Kyler Creasy's favorite target.
There were 7 Ravenwood players in coverage here, and they are able to find the one spot. That's why you line up and just see how people react and where you're going to attack. They find the route they want. Bandy makes the play.
Creasy rolls out on 1st and 10. Down the field, it's caught by Tamari Hill, and he's swung down out of bounds. That stops the clock. Hill is down after the play. With 50 seconds left in the game, the clock is stopped.
Creasy just rolling out, finding an open pocket where the zone is weak. Runs into Seth Rowland, coach for Ravenwood, running backs coach, athletic guy himself. He's able to get right back up.
Well, good to see both of them get back up, especially Tamari Hill, who is such an important player for Oakland as he takes a knee again.
It looks like a wrist or hand.
It was a 26-yard completion. And Tamari Hill, who has not played since week 5 against Blackman before tonight, so he's missed 3 games, has well over 600 yards of total offense, 7 total touchdowns this year. Such a weapon with multiple power conference offers will come off the field. And, if you're Kevin Creasy, the last thing you want, even if you win tonight, is for it to come at a cost of one of your best players, as, of course, it's not a region matchup tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, coming in, that was one of the talking points, was the 3-headed monster where they're all, seemingly going to get reps and be healthy. It would just hurt to lose one, especially at this point in the season. But Oakland, now with 50 seconds left, are they going to play to still be aggressive and go for the score? Or you see a lot of people kind of take their foot off the gas and set up for the field goal.
After the 26-yard gain, Creasy looking and flings it out of bounds. Kyler Creasy, 9 of 15 on the night as he gets the play from his dad, Kevin. 185 yards and a touchdown on the 74-yard score to Chase Bandy. That put Oakland up 14-0 in the first, a lead they took into the second quarter before Ravenwood rallied, and it's been a heavyweight bout since then.
A very back and forth and competitive second half, coming down to the wire. Now, you're able to you can use all your downs, but you can't use all your time. Creasy trying to be smart.
Screen, it's Tutt, has blockers at the 20. Craig Tutt is out of bounds. 36 seconds left, and Oakland has worked its way into the red zone. But this one's coming back. And this crowd is recognizing the flag late, as you heard a overwhelming groan on the home side. That is a big blow as penalties have plagued Oakland all night.
Waiting for the official call. It looks good with some smart football. We see number 74.
During the run, we have holding on the offense. Number 74.
They called that on the junior,
That's
Reese
a 10-yard
Smith.
penalty from the spot of the foul. Second down.
It's on the left tackle.
So defenders can't just throw their back into, you can't, that was kind of a sellout. So the defender kind of threw himself out, but Smith was driving his feet. In my opinion, that is not a holding. I think Ravenwood gets away with one there.
I like how you take those personally as
You can feel it in my voice.
a former offensive lineman.
I'll call a spade a spade. If he's holding, he's holding. I feel like I'm very fair with that. But that one was just finishing a block.
36 seconds, Oakland with one timeout. So they're figuring out what down it is. It is second down, a spot foul, so 2nd and 8. High snap. Creasy has Bandy, but overthrows him. Incomplete. Clock stops at 30.9 seconds.
You can tell Ravenwood hasn't really practiced much on the secondary because Kamari Bass for Oakland was, you give him a quarter of a second more and he's wide open in the end zone too. Ravenwood's secondary kind of, I don't think they expected as much throwing as they were going to get, especially in this time in the fourth. There's some holes to be attacked.
There you see Jose Hernandez, who hit a chip shot 27-yarder before the half. Put Oakland up 17-14 at the break. But that's about the range for the Patriots. They've not hit a field goal longer than 28 yards all season.
Play clock down to 8 seconds.
Creasy has plenty of time, heaves it deep, but it'll carry out of bounds. And that'll bring up 4th and 8 for the Patriots with about 24 seconds left. So now here's an interesting scenario. If you're Oakland, and this is well out of your field goal range, I suppose the answer is to go for it and waste as much time as possible in the process.
I think that's what they're looking to do. So they're not going to run it on third and use that timeout on the last play because you would need that timeout to set up a kick. But now that you have that timeout, I suppose right now, if you get the first, you can still use it to set up a kick after this. And it's really, if you know your kid is a very low percentage of making it, this is probably the right call. You still have to protect the football. Can't give Ravenwood anything.
Creasy under pressure, rolls to his left and gets it away. Was he down? Summerall brought the heat. Either way, Ravenwood will get the football with 19.5 seconds left. They will say Creasy got the ball off.
Summerall, just off of the backside from his linebacker position, tracks it. Full head of steam, covers that ground in no time. Creasy didn't have enough time to get his route set up. Ravenwood with only 19.5 seconds, but 3 timeouts. As Maverick Chance is turning the road, Femi Babalola coming out. That's the explosive guy right there. He's got a few big plays here tonight.
And that holding call looms large for Oakland as they had it in the red zone, but it backed them up to the 30. Turnover on downs, and Ravenwood, who has all 3 timeouts, has a chance at a late game winner. Quick pass from Babalola. He does not complete to Kimple.
Something to consider is Babalola, of the 2 quarterbacks, has been the one to test the waters most. Kind of gotten away with some very close passes slipping through Oakland players' fingers. Definitely don't want to give anything here if you don't have to.
His 2 touchdowns were big plays. 65 yards to Donovan Starr in the second, 38 yards to Ben Hubbard in the third. And he'll go deep here. It's intercepted by Bandy. Chase Bandy, right place, right time, and he's tugged out of bounds at the 45. The leader on this team in interceptions. That is his 6th of the season. And just like that, Oakland will get an opportunity with 9.5 seconds left.
Femi, I'm sorry. That's the first time I've commentators cursed somebody. I mean, it's kind of been a trend this game coming in, so you just follow that trend, and I was getting a little worried. Now Oakland with 9.5 seconds, and they still have that timeout. You know, you might be able to complete a deep play and, hey, take a shot at a kick with no time.
There was no flag on the play. On the 45, here's Oakland. Quick screen. This is to Bass, who just gets across the 45, and Oakland is going to let this thing go to overtime.
Holding up a 5. You hardly see that. Holding up the 5. He has the smile. I love it. I've never seen that.
Kevin Creasy is having a good time. Who is it? How fun is this? 2 8-0 teams, 6A state championship contenders. It's going to take more than 4 quarters to separate these two, as they'll huddle up at their respective sidelines. Let's take another look at the Chase Bandy interception that really forced this thing to overtime. Just awaiting it on his own 47.
Kind of knew where the routes were going to attack, so he sat on the spot a little bit rather than move. You know, a risky play, but Babalola, we kind of all subtly knew he was going to take a shot. Right, see, I love it. And, you know, that says something about you and your mindset when you're a team that's done X, Y, Z, consecutive state championships. You'll see some coach, they get in a bad spot or a spot their team hasn't been in, and you'll see them fired up and getting to people. He's smiling ear to ear. He's like, hey, let's see what we're made of. I love it.
Well, and again, we talked about this game being a measuring stick for both teams. They stepped out of region play, understanding they're both going to return to region play next week with big rivalry region championship games. But when you talk about seeing where you're at before a postseason run that you hope ends in Chattanooga in the Blue Cross Bowl, both of these teams have been so good this year with their undefeated start. Not a lot of close games. Oakland's had a couple. The 13-12 win over Blackman in week 5, a blocked field goal at the end to come back and win that game, and massive win in week 2 in Texas against Anna High School in a shootout, 52-48. But in the case of Ravenwood, Bruno, their closest game has been a week 3 victory over Gallatin. That was 14-7. I mean, just how good of an opportunity is this to learn about yourself against another state championship contender?
I mean, yeah, and both of these teams can look back and learn a lot, but the victor of this is going to certainly carry that mental edge into the games to come. But something to consider, too, Oakland, they did go down with their bell cow Hill. He was injured at the end of the 4th there, so now they're going to have to operate without him.
So they will play to the right side of the field as we look on from the press box. And the ball will start at the 10. So think college overtime rules. But instead of starting at the 25, starting at the 10-yard line.
See Ravenwood sideline a little confused. Do we have it? I believe we do.
Ravenwood will start overtime with the football. There was some confusion there. So Oakland will get the opportunity to play defense first and figure out what they'll need when they get the ball. Well, scratch that. Oakland's offense will come out and start with the football. And that's what they're playing for tonight. A 9-0 mark and that trophy on the Tennessee Army National Guard's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. Oakland gets the first chance at it. Bandy is in the Wildcat. He hands off to Tutt, who powers forward to the 5.
Coming into the game, we're talking about Ravenwood's defense, how stout they've been, the strength of their team. Oakland, their offense, their three-headed monster coming back. These two, immovable object, unstoppable force kind of meeting. Now in overtime, who's going to get the first edge?
Ravenwood defense that's allowed 5 points per game coming into tonight. An Oakland offense that's put up 36 per contest. Same play, Vandy to Tutt with the handoff, and he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage by Jake Roberts, the junior linebacker. And it brings up 3rd and goal.
Great play by Roberts on the backside. Did not give him anywhere to go. This is where Oakland's offense has its strength, the misdirection. They can attack on the middle. They can go over the top.
Kyler Creasy stays on the sideline next to his father, head coach Kevin. Again, no Dewan Morris. Haven't seen him since the 3rd quarter. The USC commit at running back. Tutt in the Wildcat, up the middle. Helmet rolls into the end zone, and so does Craig Tutt. Touchdown, Oakland. And the Patriots punch first in the extra period.
Use the word bell cow a lot tonight. Tutt is the bell cow right here. And who better to go to on your direct snaps for Oakland to take the edge in the first overtime?
So an important extra point here for Jose Hernandez. He's hit on all 3 tonight, including a chip shot field goal, and he hits on that one. A perfect 4 for 4. So Oakland takes a 31-24 lead, and now Ravenwood will get the football at the 10-yard line.
Want to talk about a player of the game. I know we mentioned we would announce it at the end of the 4th. Well, too bad. There's more football to be played. But that young man right there, number 1 Tutt, a potential.
So now the Ravenwood offense gets its turn. Oakland crowd starting to make some noise. And a timeout is taken by Oakland.
Timeout, Patriots.
Did you see that, Lucas? An Oakland player went down on the field and kind of laid back and then got back up. That was a very strange. I'm watching you boys out there.
So Kevin Creasy takes his final timeout before Ravenwood can get off its first overtime snap.
Thank you. Let's look at number 20 on the right side of your screen on Oakland. Oh, sniper shot. Wait a second. I'm going to pop back up. That's Ethan Burrell. Ethan Burrell, you need to enroll in some theater classes, young man, next semester, all right? I'm sorry to call him out, but in a world where Easy Crazy right there, kind of a little grin to him. Hey, in the big games, if you ain't, you're not trying.
Let's throw it down to Sammy Kincaid quickly.
Yeah, I was just standing next to Coach Creasy on that one, and he threw his arms up like, what are we doing, guys? And he told the ref, timeout, and shook his head and looked down.
Thank you, Sammy. Similar reaction to you. Ravenwood needs a touchdown to force a second OT. Hubbard in motion.
Kind of interesting, Babalola out there, although he was the one on the last series.
Play clock at 7. Play action, Babalola has an open man, and he connects. This has been Ben Hubbard's game. That is his second touchdown pass of the night. His second touchdown catch, I should say. Second touchdown catch of the season as well. And Ravenwood's an extra point away from forcing a second overtime.
Watch Hubbard. He's practically begging for the football, and then his prayers are answered as he gets down to both knees, praying to the football gods that Femi Babalola sees him, and he does.
So now an ever important extra point to come, unless the Raptors are thinking about going for 2. As you look at Carlos Guerra, who drilled the 41-yarder, his helmet is off. I believe that man to the right of him, wearing 93, is Drew Crabtree. His helmet, no, correction, that's not Drew Crabtree. Great work by our camera crew. That is Luke Hartman, the sophomore wide receiver. So we'll see if Ravenwood elects to go for 2 or kick it here. If you're Will Hester, the game doesn't affect your postseason standing. You're on the road against an undefeated Oakland looking for your first ever win against the Patriots. Wonder how much that's part of the discussion here.
Lucas, you nailed it. I mean, I wasn't a very shy kid when I played football, so if I was on that sideline, I'd be like, I want the response. Put it on us, coach. Let's finish this thing here and now. And I think this conversation doesn't look like it's about a field goal. Let me tell you that, Lucas.
Here comes the offense. They're going to decide this game right here and right now. The ball on the 3. Ravenwood going for 2. 2 unbeaten records on the line here in Week 10. Babalola throws left side. It's caught. It's caught and Ravenwood wins. Patrick Sullivan, the tight end. And Ravenwood is 9-0.
You saw the reaction there at the end. Sullivan, they were dialing that out on the Ravenwood sideline the entire time. So they were planning that out. Sullivan, they knew where to attack that football. They had Sullivan chase that corner pylon right there. And Babalola places it exactly where it's needed as Ravenwood and their players rush the field as everyone's kind of hurtling back up to finish the game with respect and sportsmanship and shake hands. But what a finish, Lucas.
32-31, the final, a classic at Oakland tonight as the Raptors move to 9-0. With Femi Babalola finding his tight end, Patrick Sullivan getting under it for the 2-point conversion.
And make no mistake, that is a catch. The ball is not influenced by the ground at all. A perfect reel in. I mean, good coverage too, but just that's offensive football. When on paper, when you execute, it's supposed to fall on your side. And Ravenwood gets it done on the road.
What a call. What a play, what a game. Ravenwood overcomes an early 14-point deficit and wins in overtime at Oakland to stay undefeated. We'll be right back with post-game coverage on MyTV 30. Let's get to our Bass Tire stop of the game, and it was a big one by this Ravenwood defense that has come up in massive moments all season long. 4th down, Oakland pushing for a game winner. Ravenwood comes up with the stop.
Yep, they just get over the top on this zone play. They cross the faces of the offensive linemen, able to get backfield penetration. Everybody does it too. That was 5 individual wins to create that stop.
And that brings us to our play of the game presented by the Tennessee Army National Guard. And we just saw it as Ravenwood gets the ball second in overtime after giving up a Craig Tutt touchdown. Down 7 in the extra period. They score with a touchdown to Ben Hubbard and go for 2, connecting with Patrick Sullivan.
And there were some, that we're on the Oakland box, by the way, so there was some, exclamation that was that a catch, wasn't it? It was without a doubt a catch. Sullivan gets his hands underneath. Great throw by Babalola. Great drawn up all around, and that is the correct call when you're an underdog on the road.
Femi Babalola with the game-winning score for 2 as we go down to Sammy Kincaid, who's alongside Will Hester in the winning Raptors.
Yeah, a lot of very excited winning Raptors that are behind us right now, Coach. What can you just say about the resiliency of this team to get this one done?
I mean, obviously we fell behind a little bit starting out, but our defense has been the strength of our team all year long, and they made some plays to get us back in it, and offense found a way to score a few points, and why not put it on the back of our seniors there on the last play to go for 2 in the win. So, pretty good night.
What kind of went through that decision-making, that trust that you have in them to go for 2 and not just tie it up there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been building for this for a long time, right? And we're going to go out on our terms, and it's going to be the way that we want it to be. And we got the opportunity there to win the football game on our terms, and we did.
Well, congratulations, Coach. And here's the trophy. I know you want to celebrate with your team.
That is the sound of 8-0 from the Ravenwood Raptors. As Will Heskler celebrates that trophy with his team, they've got their eyes on another trophy down the road in Chattanooga. Ravenwood wins at Oakland 32-31. Let's get to our player of the game from a dramatic win. It's presented by Bart Durham, and it is Ravenwood quarterback Femi Babalola, the junior signal caller, splitting reps with his classmate Maverick Chance. Finishes the night 9 of 22 for 185 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. 5 carries for 17 yards, but of course this game-winning 2-point conversion to Patrick Sullivan.
Yeah, so for Ravenwood, they've been swapping out between Chance and Babalola. Well, at the end of the game, Babalola throws the interception, and then coming out of overtime, he's the first one to go out. So that shows the trust they have in this kid. We got to see him last year where he had a lot of the tools, but he came back a lot more refined and was able to get it done at the very tail end when his number was called.
Well, Babalola, as we take a look at some extended highlights from the game, really got going with this 65-yard connection to Donovan Starr, the Auburn commit. That put Ravenwood on the board.
At the time where they needed it most, Babalola brought the explosive play. When things look bleak and you can't have, as we also saw, he got Hubbard in too, who was another contender for a player of the game. He had his breakout game tonight. A good connection between those two. 9 of 21 for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns. A 65-yard long bomb to lead him off on the night.
Yeah, 109 of those yards and both touchdowns to Ben Hubbard, but the 2-point play to Sullivan is what gets it done for Ravenwood, as the Raptor fan base is celebrating on the field here at Oakland High School. Man, it doesn't get much better than that. And the good news is we've got more of it for you next week, because we're headed to Ravenwood High School to watch the Battle of the Woods, a region championship matchup between rivals in Williamson County. Friday, November 1st, a week from tonight, 7 p.m., our regular season finale of Friday Night Rivals. It's a Williamson County Classic showdown right here on MyTV 30 Sports. Can't wait. And it was fun tonight. Thank you all for joining us to watch Ravenwood knock off Oakland in overtime. And we'd all like to take a moment, of course, to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, Bart Durham Injury Law, and Sonic, who, through their contributions to the program, make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2024 Friday Night Rivals telecast. The United States Navy, BMC Metalworks, UA Local 572, Wilson Bank and Trust, the United States Marines, Western Kentucky University, Bass Tire, and Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Ravenwood High School and our host, Oakland High School. From our partner Bruno Reagan, Sammy Kincaid down on the sidelines, our phenomenal crew, I'm Lucas Panzica saying goodnight, and we'll see you next week as Ravenwood knocks off Oakland in overtime 32-31.